I tell you, once you hear all of these, it means it's time for you to come get glued to your radio.
Yeah, to sports. Yeah, to sports. You from Fonjama, Reverend to sport. Yeah, to sport. Every weekend, my brother to sport. You got a sport TV, you got a sport radio, to sport. Yeah, to sport. You want to get a news update, to sport. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? Yes, but you got it. Yes, but you got it.
I tell you, from Monrovia, we say welcome to Spoon Talk right here, your favorite doll. And of course, every time you turn in at this time, every day, Monday to Sunday, it means it's time for your program, Spoon Talk. And that is the reason why we come here, just because we know you are waiting. Yes, I want to welcome you on this 13th day of June 2025. I know you already want to put your calls through. We gave you the time to tune in, share the show, call your friends, the other people that you can now turn into 107.5 and Fabric 101.1, Spoon TV on Facebook, Spoon Talk on YouTube. Fabric TV, Super TV, we are all over. Thanks to you for relaying the program every night whenever the CEO and the rest of the family come through. You also are there ready to, express your views about what is happening in your country. You are so concerned. All sectors and divisions have your own interests. Come here, you talk your own, everybody talk their own. This is the People's Show. Let me say welcome. My name is Lorena Honoré. I am your producer. I produce every Friday night. The different issues across the board, Liberians have been following every issue politically. Yeah, about the economy or, the climate change. Some homes are already being flooded with water and the rain hasn't yet really come down. So, people didn't, prepare as always. But there will be lots of floods across Monrovia and the rest of the country. Again, let me say welcome. Put your calls through. Different things happen in the country have been happening since in fact last year we have been having lots of different things of government entities and things that have been happening that you are concerned about. I'm concerned about. It is something that everybody is talking about. Like the breaking news now on homepage, the Monrovia City Court rules against the 4 lawmakers, and the case is now transferred to criminal court. Hey. So many people want this case to be closed. Move forward. So my friends are concerned about that. Different things happen in the country. Spoon is situated in Congo Town in District number 10. And so, of course, everything that happens in District 10. So welcome. Very soon you're going to put your calls through so that you tell us is on your mind? What is it that you're thinking about, you're worrying about, that is troubling you, that you are concerned, you want to make your contribution? Everything you want to talk about, you have them, line up some people to say that the place I can go, to put everything that in my head also in my heart, and they can give me the chance for me to do it. So this is your chance and opportunity. So let's say welcome. This is Spawn Talk on Spawn 107.5 FM, Fabric 101.1 FM, and Spawn Talk on YouTube. Always subscribe, hit the notification button. It is there like a bell. Touch it, and so that whenever Spoon Talk is on, you get notified. They come over, the people show is on. So please share the show. All the viewers, listeners, you are all welcome. They share us, the contributors.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening. Just for
Very soon I'm going to open up the line so that you put your calls through. I see your calls are already coming through. So you tell us what is on your mind, what is disturbing you, what is it that you want to contribute to the show. There will be times that calls will be taken in the show if the panelists want that to happen as well.
keep on preaching like my brother to the school. You got a sport TV, you got a sport.
So let's hear from you. What is it that you want to talk about that is troubling you, or you are just concerned you want to make your contribution? Good evening. Good evening. Are you there?
My name is Joseph N. Waka, and I call you from Japan.
Your name is Joseph Waka.
Okay. My concern has to deal with the Ministry of Public Works. The places where they remove the quota that got damaged before they have removed the quota, almost going to a month, and the road is getting deplorable along this Tubman Boulevard. So I'm calling on them for them to see about that place.
Okay.
Secondly, to the second one I have to say to the city police. They really have to see how best to send men in the street, even in the night or at night, for them to inspect the city for those who bring that and dropping in the drainages, because we see that when rainy season comes through this blocking of the drainage makes flooding.
Thank you.
So I'm appealing to the city mayor for him to take that chance.
Thank you. All right. Let's take call from this other line. Good evening. Yes. Welcome to the show.
Yes, good evening.
What is on your mind, sir? What's your name?
My name is Peterson K. Sonia, Executive Director of the Victims of our Liberia Massacre. First of all, what on my mind has to do with the issue of the Office of the War and Economic Crime Court. You see, this government putting budget at the 2 million, and TRC will operate on 2 million plus. But now the government have not received a dime yet, and the office are going 6 months without taking a salary. And we federal government go to work every day, taking from home and not carrying back. It is very troubling. We victims and survivors, it's becoming so embarrassing for us. Like, we don't know how to do. We have engaged the government, how the press release around here and nothing. So this is serious. This is serious. We're calling on President Joseph Boakai, the executive, to make sure that they send this money in the people account. That is start their actual work. The people working and people taking their own money, that the Bible taking their own money, going in the county, the town, and villages.
Thank you very much.
This is serious.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much.
You. You're welcome. 077771075 05551011075. Call and be on the show. Tell us what is on your mind, what is troubling you, what is that issue that you want to talk about. You have a chance to put it through right here on Spoon Talk.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Into community.
Yeah, what's up, Mr. Fofana? What's on your mind?
My issue has to do with the NRR people today.
The what?
NRR, National Identification Registry.
Okay.
People talking, we are being informed by the GSM companies. It is starting August 1st. All transaction will be done by the National Identification Card.
Yeah, we received the message.
We are asking the government to please, through NRR, to please decentralize their center in a very 17 district. So it will ease on the burning from the citizens. So now, people, I will tell you that 99.9% of Liberians, they're willing to take the ADICA.
Okay.
But the central, to get a center is very difficult.
Thank you,
so
sir.
The entire country, that is decentralized all over, not only here. Because someone that Maryland, someone that Lufa, they can't come here before they get their ADICA. So keep burning on us. So I want for government.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Other people call 077771075 05551011075. Yes. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Yes, I had one call and my name is Teresa.
Yeah, man, Teresa. What's on your mind?
My people that think that my mama all leave you now we my children saying now landlord and I don't want to talk there on top of the big dam when the rain ceases before we can wipe the floor we lay down my people please help me. Anybody that hearing my voice please help me. I'm begging you.
Thank you, Mama. 077771075 05551011075. Call and be on the show. What is on your mind you want to talk about? Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the show. What is on your mind?
Good evening. How are you, Lorena?
I am fine, sir. What is your name?
I'm Peter S. Dodo, calling from Pakapin Wood.
Peter, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, what on my mind this evening is a circulation on social media, especially by Yeke Koluba, that the visit Satan, the CEO, took him in Liberia. He came and he left a child here. At the time he was in hotel, he brought a child with a lady here. So it is circulating on social media. So I would like for him to come and clear himself from the social media so that everybody can know what it is true or not.
Thank you, sir.
That's my main concern.
077771075 05551011075. Let's talk to you. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, tell me your name now. Where are you calling from?
I'm Oscar, calling from Comcast, Lima County.
Welcome to the show. I hope you share the show.
I do.
You share it in Nima?
I share in Nima.
Good. What's on your mind?
Lorena, what have my mind have to do with mental state? Lorena, you know the resources are in this country. One day the iron ore are in Ikepa will be finished. But you know, our government went to walls and made agreement with mental state and yet did the agreement plain open. And mental
what is that? What was that agreement?
That mental state should take the iron ore, but they now make a specific something. They operate one mountain. But you are speaking of mental state operating 3 different mountains in Nima. And the citizens are not benefiting nothing. The town and villages surrounding the mountain are not benefiting nothing. And the 1.5 million kilometers of Nima is not anything that Nima should survive from. The affected community within that district 1 and 2 and 8 are not benefiting nothing. Mental state is just taking the iron ore for the 3 mountains for no benefit. And when you reach the Ikepa Lorena, Ikepa is looking at both towns. Ikepa used to be a small America those days. But when you reach the Ikepa this day, never say nothing. And the same thing matters in Brazil and the students of this Brazil. I think it's being Liberia. So I want for government to come in Let our lawmaker of Lima County come in and see how best we can put a feet on ground so the citizens of Lima can benefit from the mountain. Because one of these days, the iron ore will feel from the mountain. We're not benefiting nothing. Our people are suffering. No good school, no good road, no good cleaning, no good safe drinking water. We're banking there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling. Thank you for being on the show. Call us and be a part of the program. 0777-771075, 055-101075. We know you have something on your mind. Talk about it. What is your name?
Hello, Lorena. My name is Oliver, and I call you from my Donald's resident.
Are you okay, Oliver?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right. What is on your mind?
The issue first, my first issue has to do with the CEO.
Which CEO?
The CEO of Spoon, Waterspoon.
Thanks for your concern.
Yeah, not much about concern about the mental health. I think about the past 3 days now, we having here in OR, the very day I heard it seems to be like you are host. So I just want to find out how his health now.
CEO is okay.
And I wish him a speedy recovery.
It's okay.
Yeah, and the other issue has to do with, for us, we are nurses. We graduated from the nursing college. And since we graduated from the school, there's no job. We're just sitting home with our license, our documents all year, and there's no job. So you
can just volunteer at hospitals and clinics.
Even to get the volunteer work is very much difficult.
All the hospitals and clinics in town?
That's what I'm telling you.
Then what about in the counties?
Oh, but I don't know which of the county are. For me, I'm from Monserrato, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful evening.
Let the government try to do something about it.
Yeah, everything will go, man. 0777-771-075, 0555-101075. Call us and be on the show. Good evening.
Lorena, thank you. Thank you so much. I remain the civil rights basketball Peter McCauley, and I joined from District 9, Monserrato County as a pro defender. Lorena, in the country, under the watch of President Bouaka, it's just like we in hell. Our president, I don't know the level of him, it's not the level of the ordinary Liberian. But our president make an interview statement or make on a press release, I can call it, telling the Liberian of how he reduced or take off 25 cents for the rice. Lorena, I beg you, bring a microphone in district number now I reside. The URA is 204 in district number 9. President Bola said he take 25 cents for the 25 kg bear. So, if a 25 cents move on the 25 kg bear, then how much it cost? Right now, in district number 9, buying 3,550. Then the president is telling all that he's reducing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
So I wonder what the president get advisor that can advise him before speaking. Because in that people we are suffering on the watch of President Bouaka. The government, everything on President Bouaka, the senator did not say before that the economy. He senator do not win America today. I know the council share money. He that said the economy on the talking how to share money. So President Bouaka and Lieutenant, they are suffering and not people.
Thank you.
We are suffering.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there are people who are suffering and there are people who are okay, Good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, you're live on the show, sir. What is your name?
Yeah, I said I'm David Ivama. I call you on district number 15.
David, what you want to talk about?
What's on my mind, Lorena, in the country, as long as we get more electricity or more electric people full of the country, Lorena, the country will always go backward. We got a very good president who's trying to pull the Liberian interest, but then you get the country boys and they just ready and skip them. and just talk things that they're not supposed to talk on the media.
So you can say that, man.
So you, yeah, well, I say my own too. You say, I will say my own. Because you want to tell us that, oh, because the president said, the tax on red, it should be dropped. And now you expect for red to get dropped on the team. It will not happen.
Thank you.
It's not happening. They go so Latin in talking. Administration, no.
You the mentor unto on 0777710750 0555101075. Go and be live on the show. Good evening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Spoon Talk. What is your name? What is on your mind?
Yeah, let me take you into the president to get my bag on the greater president when the public on that world. I want to tell you thank you for the development in the country. I want to tell you thank you for the executive order 150 that I released on the duty-free or resting protection in that world. So starting from here, we will reduce because now rest coming in the country duty-free. I want to tell the president thank you for the executive order that I gave. I want to tell you thank you.
And the way that Birmingham led rice already.
The opposition, yeah. Next week, starting from here, we will reduce. I know I get it home that my president, that man will war. And I want to say, President Boga, continue and do the hard work that when people.
Thank
don't
you.
mind the opposition, and I job the crazy that.
Okay.
So I want to thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the time.
Yeah, you're welcome. You are so welcome. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
What is the name? Where are you calling us from?
Daniel pay from 540 Congo Town.
Wow, you always getting through.
Yes, my sister. I can find how to get through.
But I don't think so because you can always get through.
Okay, yes.
What is on your mind?
What on my mind is about this issue with former speaker and the government. This case is not an easy case. Very serious. Yeah, it's a criminal case. So, if those people are the ones that take that act and the law found them guilty, let them be punished for it.
Okay.
But if they are not the one, let them be set free. And so let the government take its own time to invest people. I don't think what we'll be doing is taking things now by.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. 0777710750 0555101075. We're gonna go through, some of the happenings in the country. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Tell us your name, sir. Where are you calling us from?
My name is 17 Glower. I'm calling from District Number 1 Grand Bassa County.
What is on your mind?
Yeah, people are saying that the country is okay. Country is okay on some people's side, but the country is not okay on other people's side. We are the maximum, we are suffering the year rate, they kill it off. So it's not easy, not small thing. It's possible that government will get power to employ all citizens for when the year rate come down, when we are the poorest people, we able to buy things for ourselves, then the country are going smooth to everybody. But people keep pressing the president is doing good. Then the year rate, the poor people, we are suffering. So that's it. On my mind, telling this book that they don't care for the radio is come down, then the country go far because no one about Liberia. No one bigger than Liberia, but Liberia is our own country. No Liberia the best. But at least you ever see calm down, then that will praise the government.
All right, sir. 0777710750 0555101075. We'll, go through the headlines, breaking news, and then we'll come back to talk to you. What is your name? Where are you calling us from?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Welcome. What is your name?
Yeah. Tennessee, I'll party for Kakata to get the for new company.
What's on your mind?
Don't want to appreciate our president for our work we doing in the country for the shortest time that we are put to power. People will not be 100% settled activities. It happened in this year, past this year. Where me, to get a say we put our climate this year. But it's the stage here that we are in. It is actually started with a group for it. I can put a Kakata stick. I'm working on concrete pavement for now.
Thank you.
So let me appreciate the comment for more.
All right. You're welcome. Let's talk to more people. We'll talk to you quickly. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Sir, what is your name?
I'm Peter K. Joa calling from Johnsonville.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, what on my mind is about the difficult case.
Mm-hmm.
In Liberia, if you have someone still in this country, then they will say investment at the end of the day they allow them to go. So it's better the investigation go on. If they stay free, they go free. But the fact that yes, that the investigation should be straight. It should be something that should go on so that all of people that will come there, they can know that when you do it, you go through investigation, you be found guilty, they send you to jail for that.
Thank you, sir.
And number two, the president doing well in this country because to find a leader like this is very difficult. So at least we have to pray and join him as a Liberian, start to criticize the government. We shouldn't be on the criticism until through us. We should have to praise him until God can bless us. At the end of the day, 2029, if you're going back, then you what you're doing. At least
all right. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yep, you're welcome. The Monrovia City Court has ruled against former House Speaker Councillor Fanati Kofa and 3 other lawmakers. In a preliminary hearing, Magistrate Ben Bako found that the prosecution established a prima facie case. This means there is enough evidence to move the case to Criminal Code A for a full trial. Magistrate Bako explained that the standard is not proof beyond reasonable doubt, but a reasonable ground to suspect the accused committed a crime. The defendants, including Dixon Sibo, Abubi Kamara, Fonanti Kofa, and Jacob C. Debi, face charges related to conspiracy to purchase explosives and gasoline. These were allegedly used to set fire to the House of Representatives. Joint Chamber on December 18, 2024. The case will now proceed to the next level of the judiciary for a full trial. All right, so, just giving you some of what is happening, and you are talking about it. You've been talking about it on different platforms. You have been talking about it on social media. You have been talking about it across the corners, the streets, the avenues in the communities. President Joseph Numa Boaga is scheduled to travel to Zweju, Grange County later this month to attend a historic national ceremony marking the reburial of former President Samuel Kanyando, as well as the funeral and interment of former First Lady Nancy Bondo, who recently passed away in Monrovia. President Boaga informed the family today during a courtesy visit by members of the Doe family at his residence in the rehab community. He emphasized the importance of according dignity and national recognition to past leaders, reaffirming his administration's unwavering commitment to national healing, reconciliation, and unity. All right, so we are waiting. Right there she is, Dr. Richardson. I was just trying to tease the people small while with you.
You did a great job, Lorena. I definitely enjoy you giving us especially the Kofa case. I think everybody's interested in that case. How are you doing?
I'm okay, Doc. How are you? How's everything going?
Everything's going busy. Somewhat Friday. My oldest daughter moved. She's on her own now. And so I went to her house today to see how she's doing. She seemed happy. You know how it's like as a parent when you have that older daughter.
Yep, I know it. I know the feeling.
You're always worried. Well, eventually she's doing well, but it's like as a parent, you're like, are they going to be okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So welcome, Doc. How's your health?
Feeling well, doing pretty good. Can't complain, just blessed. That's all. How you doing? I see you've been exercising there.
Yeah. Exercise.
It's much needed.
Yeah.
I say it's much needed. That exercise we all need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doc. So you do you exercise too?
Yeah, I do. Not as much as I would like to do this summer, but I do I like walking. That's my therapy. So around the block, I will go just walk for 2-3 miles. But yeah, so that's I don't have membership to a gym or anything like that, because here is like almost $50, $40-$50 for a gym membership, and then you subscribe to it for a whole year. They'll be taking it out of your, what are you going now? They will take it out of your paycheck.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So once you register, you register.
You register. What are you going at? They'll take out of your paycheck. And so I did that for a while. And if sometimes if I didn't have the chance to go, they would still be taking it out. So I just decided I would let them just. I went for almost 2-3 years. I would go sometimes after work, stay home, go sometimes, and then I was like, I can monitor this for myself. Then hubby decided to get me a treadmill downstairs in the basement. I got all the exercise machines downstairs in the basement.
That's good. Dr.
Yeah.
Richardson, that is really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
so it makes it easier for you.
It does.
Every morning. I believe the morning hours, is the best.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up in bed and you start your day, whatever you think you should start your day with, just go there. And it depends on your morning hour.
Yeah, but I'm always so busy. I don't get the opportunity to list all the things that you do. I run my own private practice, so and I have to see clients. Sometimes it's emergency reasons, like if they have a court date, the immigration office would sometimes change the court date, or sometimes you just send them a letter a week before, or maybe they get fearful. They don't tell us, say, oh, I got this letter a month ago, but they will bring the letter to us a week ago, and they have to go to court. So sometimes immigration is really open to a psychologist telling them the human story, because when you look at the immigration law, it's black and white. You either legal here or illegal here. So sometimes when I evaluate clients, I kind of give the history, why this person is in this country, the way they came. Some people come here and they just overstay their visa, or sometimes they smuggle them here. Sometimes they're seeking political asylum. And so it's my job to explain that. And they've been very open to, me explaining that. A couple of the facts that I do give and minister, like the depression skills, the trauma skills. Sometimes I give them personality tests. So I'm doing all of that. Wow. Yes. And so I tell them I actually stay with them until they actually succeed in adjusting their status. So I'm not the type of psychologist that would just come and see you. So sometimes they go to court and they will suspend the case, or they will postpone the case for another 2 years. So then that person go, oh, Dr. Richard saw me 2 years ago, but 2 years ago when I saw you may have been healthy, I will have to see you again to update the case. So then I have to do that. Then I have to grade papers, because I'm still teaching. So I have to grade papers.
That's a whole program.
That's another job, a whole another job. I mean, I teach 2 classes during the summer. The students expect feedback. There's no way that you can just come to class. It's always important to get, whether it's constructive or positive feedback, but it's important for the students. So I have to read whatever, and then they have dissertations to defend. I think this summer I was on at least 3 dissertations committee, and with the committee, they come and make a proposal as to what they're going to study first. Then we all have to agree, say it's good. Okay, you're doing the right thing. Your methodology is all right. Then after that, they do it on their own for a little bit, but in between they got questions like, I don't know what to do, Dr. Richardson. I'm studying this and I'm stuck. So then you gotta answer that, because if you don't answer, then what are you going to do? And then they take their comms and their composition exam, which is like an exam they have to take before they move on to the next level. I'm scheduled to read certain portion of that exam as well, so I have to do that. And then I have spoon, and of course,
I want to have you.
And yes, and I'm and of course I'm a global chairperson for Citizens Movement for Change. So
right.
a whole different.
Also a politician.
Yes, so it's a lot. It's a lot, But I'm glad it's the love for country that I'm able to separate and bring myself to contribute with everything else that's going on in my life. So, but it's a love for country. There's no other place than home. The love that you guys show me when I'm home. When we're talking or when we have to go to places, Lorena. I don't think I can get that sort of just natural, authentic emotions, raw emotions from anyone else in the part of the world. and I've seen it before. You just a number. We say you just a social security number. Um, like I've been on my job at the university for about 20 years now, and in that time frame, people died, and the next day they had somebody teaching their courses. You know, life got to go on, and I mean, I'm like, oh wow. So yeah, so it is. But so home will always be home, and I see somebody saying, "No, I'm not making excuses for not exercising," or they say, "I'm making excuses for not exercising."
I just need to read the comment section.
Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes this one is just it's like too
Yeah.
much excuses for exercising. No, yes, I do have a lot, and I can try to.
And you are also a part of agriculture here in Liberia.
That's right. Yes, we
So,
should.
so, so today at the Invisible Park, some farmers were able to showcase their products. Yeah, we saw a lot of veggie leaves. We saw spice. We saw pepper, and potato greens and cassava leaf and collard greens and all the leaves and fever leaf. Yeah, they were, showcasing them at the Invisible Park, where
I can't
the
wait.
Ministry of Agriculture went with them.
That's very nice. Dr. Nuta was there. He's the minister of
And
agriculture. Dr. Nuta, right? He's the minister of
yeah, it was
agriculture.
there.
That's very, and that's what we need to do more of. Like your daughter is into agriculture as well. So am I. I have a farm that produces, a couple of things that we're accustomed to, primarily oil palm. We make coal. We sell avocado. What we can call it butter pear home in our country. I'm doing a lot of cassava. My goal is to open and help the women in the neighborhood. My goal is to open up a cassava mill where we can actually beat the cassava and put it. I know we have interview. Remember, I don't know you know her, but she does fufu. We
Yeah.
eat yeah. So yes, the goal is to be able to, in that part of the world, make fufu, make dipa, the lot of products that we use from making cassava. So, and it can be done. And on
Yeah.
days like right now, Lorena, I hope you have my cinnamon bark ready, because cinnamon bark it can grow fresh and ready in Liberia. I want lemongrass. I'm telling you now, in whole public area, be ready to try lemongrass. I want my cinnamon bar. I want what other teas like soursop tea, fever tea, leaf, all of those things. Because when I count on the side, I want to dry pack, so I can't just drop it in the tea and give me that natural smooth taste.
Especially the lemongrass.
Yes, that's the smell of that. We can't find it in Phoebe. I know you can find it where in that part of the world. Welcome anyway, Phoebe Henry's welcome to the show. Good to have you. Just warm it up here.
Yeah, we got lemongrass in Africa.
Y'all got lemongrass there?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I miss it so much. So I'm telling you now, the whole world, your man know yes me like real know why therefore. I want some. So nice lemongrass, some salsa leaves, some moringa leaves, some lemongrass, some what to you, some cinnamon bark. Those things you can just go outside and just grab it, right, Lorena?
I don't think so, Doc. But
No.
we can reduce it.
Oh,
Lemongrass, there are people that will plant lemongrass and have them. But they are not just frequently seen.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You see back in the days, when I was
I have some in my yard too.
yes.
Lemongrass.
You have some in your yard too, right? Yeah, the woman they have fever tea leaves, lemongrass, and like we have papa. We have a garden in the backyard, my dear. Papa,
you could just cook from right behind your house. They still do have, community dwellers who have their backyard garden. And they do operate from there and they sell from there as well. They eat and sell from there. They harvest too. It's a regular thing. People come there to get cassava, people come there to get different grains, potato grains, cassava leaves. And when you pull the cassava leaves, are cassava. So it's like 2 in 1.
Yes.
Yeah, so people are planting palava sauce. They go and they pick them and they take them to the market and sell them fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is like we have to have. I like what happened today at the Invisible Park, Fubi. Lorena was saying that these guys got a lot of their natural products from these different farms, the people who planted things, and they sold these things. That should be a regular occurrence to me at that market, at the fiscal party. You really do that regularly to support the agriculture business in the country, to support others, Liberian made businesses, food. I think it will help. It will support, know
Doc,
that.
if you want me to upload the photos from there, I can do it. If that's what you want.
Please do that. Yes, if you were there. So for me,
agriculture is something that people need to focus on, and especially the backyard gardening. For me, that's something that I grew up with. My father was an agriculturist, so I had a lot of practical agriculture training. And I actually intended to do agriculture when I graduated from high school, but at the time I graduated, they were fighting in clay bombing. So in the agriculture college for the polytechnic were located there, so they had to suspend the program until. So I started doing accounting and management, and I graduated. That's why I didn't go into agriculture. But while in school, I had right out back of our house on the FE, I had my potato bean beds, about 9 that I built, and I used to use my transportation lunch money. I sell it to the market with me in Rotterdam, and we ate 2, and the other 7. I'll make sure every morning before leaving, I water them. When I come from school, I don't care how late I come from school, I go at the back and water them because I knew that my transportation, my resale money was depending on the grains. So and it helped me a lot to have my plantain. So when the plantain got ripe, I also sold them. And so encourage people to do backyard gardening.
Yeah.
A lot of things are better than it.
Yeah. I think that will help our beginning. It will be a onset to helping our agriculture sector. The more that people spend time doing these things, like selling their products, sharing your story, how you utilize money from your little small few beds you had, it contributed to you getting money to your transportation money.
Yeah. But I don't the post you compete in the country hard. Sometimes you grow at what you have at the back. If you can't eat all, you can sell some. So you can sell and you can get money to buy other things, to buy your salt, to buy your cube, to buy your rice. So besides making a large farm, just make a little small garden at the back of your house. And that's what a lot of people like Lorena was saying that you don't see people doing it now in Monrovia. But that was the order of the day. Everybody has something at the back of their house to keep themselves going. So if you can't sell all, you can't eat all, you sell some. Grow collard greens and all the other stuff, right at the eve of the house, put your collard greens right there and take care of them. By the end of the day, you got regular stuff to consume, and you got regular, you can also sell. People passing, they say, oh, you selling the collard green? I would say, yeah, sometimes they come we pluck few leaves, and we sold them.
Yeah.
Ghana also, we have a garden, put okra, corn, palava sauce. We sell, go to the market. And that's why my birthday, interestingly, my birthday is December 24th. And we're having a Christmas season around. We'll be selling on my birthday. Nobody will remember my birthday until sometime late in the evening because everybody hustling for Christmas Day. So we go to the market, or finish at in the evening, and somebody say, oh, today I'm my birthday. Then everybody happy birthday. So I just got. So because of that, I don't take birthday serious.
Yeah.
Our garden was a source of income to support a lot of the daily hustle.
Yes. I'm glad you're sharing that story because it's just saying in little ways, there's so many levels to improving the agriculture sector and to tell people the benefit of having a garden. I want to welcome Mr. Kennedy here. We're just discussing. Lorena attended the agriculture activity that was held at Invisible Park, and she's up. Let me know when you uploaded the picture. So we're just talking about the benefits. I know you have a farm. You always talk about your big cocoa farm, and that's a whole nother level. That cocoa farm production and how we can leverage our cocoa farm. I mean, once upon a time, Liberia sold one of the best coffee in the world. I think it was called Liberia or something like that. and we transported coffee around the world. Can you imagine? And so I really like to hear about your cocoa farm, Mr. Kennedy. But let Lorena upload it. Are the pictures ready now?
Yeah, some of them are ready, Doc. If you want, I can start uploading it.
Yeah, can you upload? Let's see some of the pictures from the event. Wow. There's some serious greens there. You see that?
Even Peter Paul is also there. Potato greens, pure leaf.
I'm looking at it right now. Onion. Wow. So people are buying too, right, Lorena?
Yeah, people were also buying. You know, that was why they were there to showcase, you know, their products. These ones are into agribusiness.
So what is agribusiness? Now tell us a little bit about that.
Agribusiness is what my daughter is into. They process the raw material, which is the cassava. For my daughter, she does chips, cassava chips and L chips. Now she has the sweet potato chips. The process is a whole process. Yeah. So these people you see here, that's what they do. That is their packaging. It's the packaging. You have your packaging. Everybody has the packaging. So you see some people there. I think you can see Miss Titi NutriPlant as well.
Yes, I see
the packaging there, that cream, and then all of that. You see the red oil, the rice. I'm sure that's country rice. Yeah, that's country rice.
Wow, I missed that.
In the top, the purple one, the sweetest one. And all right, so let's go to the next one, and we have this. Of course,
I look at watermelon, cucumber, is.
Yeah, plum, cucumber, lime, orange.
Can you imagine? Oh my God!
Yeah, and then there are Liberians that can produce products like, you know, natural products for the hair. You understand what I'm saying, Doc?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
like,
for your hair, for your skin.
You know, I usually and people be surprised, but there's a very popular Liberian coconut oil product that is used, and I get them. I buy the whole package when I'm coming to here, so that's what I use on my skin. The oil from Liberia, because the pumpkin is growing in Liberia. Is organic. I like that. And I'm sure that, you know, it goes through its own part. Look at over here, the guy pepper. I recognize that, and then the greens and stuff like that. You see that people are doing well. I mean, our ground is so fertile. We're blessed, so
rich.
Very.
So it's very rich.
Yeah, very rich. Wow, thank you so much, Lorena. But so, Mr. Kennedy, I want you to tell us about your cocoa farm, if you can, and maybe your ideas or how you intend to promote that farm.
Yeah, thank you. That I got the school boy home today. His school clothes for summer, so I can't be long on the show because he's up inside disturbing the whole house.
I know.
But right now, I just started my cocoa like 2 years ago, and I'm doing the 3 years, 3 to 4 years, 36 to 48 months. What I intend to do is to add value to it, to make the cocoa paste, and then have the cocoa paste shipped to the market. You know, because normally you either just grow it and let the LPNC buy it from you, but I'm going to go more behind that. So currently we have about 7,000 that we planted trees that are germinating. Then we have another 5,000 on nursery. We're going to begin planting that this month, because this is the time to do the transplant from the nursery into the hole. And then I got about 8,000 pineapples. So I got cocoa and pineapple mixture. So the pineapple, we're going to juice them right in Liberia and supply them to the local market. But the cocoa, we're looking to add value to ship it out. So yeah, I'm thinking about putting pigs and other things, animal husbandry, but that comes, you know, once we put a house and put our farm, the husbandries, and then we can start with, you know, really getting into the animal stuff, because right now people are living to the village, but they got to walk to the farm because we're still trying to adjust. Once we can get the farm up and running, the farmhouse, then you can bring your poultry. But I'm really trying to grow a pig, and then something to call groundhog. The groundhog, we can also grow it. That thing can born a lot of kids. So I want to do fish pond and a groundhog and supply Bapulu with the fish, because the thing is, people got to come from for police to come all the way to Monrovia to buy fish.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, by the time you come back, the fish is rotting. So most of the fish that are supplied to the market are all rotting fish. So we want to put a container. I'm talking to a couple of guys who can solarize the container to provide a cold storage.
Yes.
So we'll grow the fish and freeze it right there and supply the market. But it comes with I'm spending all my own money. I mean, nobody's giving me money to do anything.
Yeah.
Agriculture is a good step, but here in America, the people will subsidize you.
They would.
In fact, to the extent they'll buy everything from the farmers.
That's right.
You grow it, the people don't buy it, the government buys it from you and redistribute it to the market.
That's
true. To start it, once you give them your plan, they give you half of the money for your plan, then you plan it, they buy it from you. So it's really difficult spending your own money, and that's not right. How much rice I can eat, So, but I'm doing the farm more for a retirement perspective. That's how I'm looking at it. When I sit down on my farm, drinking my power and roasting my pig.
I have those dreams too,
Yeah, roasting my fish. But I'm trying to get back into cassava because the cassava you can also do the value addition. You can do super gari, the regular gari, and do it right for the Liberian market.
Yes. Like you're right. If we get the right support, the Ministry of Agriculture or Commerce or whoever, the right support, because I'll tell little Juby and Darius to welcome to the show. We're just warming up a little bit. I want to welcome all of you who are here today. We're going to have a wonderful show waiting for all of our panelists to trickle in. But Darius, so we're just kind of talking about agriculture in Liberia a little bit. It's just impromptu kind of conversation that we usually do. So because there was the agriculture fair that was held today at the Invisible Park. So we're just some of the things that we can do to assist that sector. There's so much we can do. Like in this country, I'll tell you guys a little joke. When I was just doing my social worker job, where one of my jobs I had to go after work, my full-time job, so I'll go after work and visit families. And I went to this family's house. It was like a small little place that mom had, but she was raising chickens. So I asked her, I said, well, how much money you can make? And she said, this is all government subsidized. She said, even if I don't sell the chicken or the eggs, at the end of the day, the government will come. They pay her every month for maintaining the farm, number one. Number two, when she will take her eggs, they will take the eggs. They show her how to distribute it around the world. And even when Americans don't have eggs, it goes somewhere, around the world. And that's how, they subsidize the farmers. So I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that. But she's like, because I was looking at it from just a farm perspective. When you have a farm, I think about big farm and things that I can really see. But there are a few chickens in my head. I said, wow. So we need to get that some of us that kind of a system. I think years ago they had a bank of just for agriculture bank. I think we need something like that back that will support. But I wanted to go to you, Mr. Do, just to tell us your thought briefly, and then we're going to go into the politics of the day. Your thoughts on agriculture. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think the agriculture is one of the sectors. If we really look into the issue about food insecurity, we cannot be talking about it any longer. 177 plus years, we just look at things that do not really benefit us. The agriculture sector, if we put more attention to it, we can be self-sufficient. I mean, we are not better than second country, Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is not better than us in other words. So yes, it's a good thing that we concentrate in the area of agriculture, like small farmers, smallholders, small farmers. We put more attention to these substantive farming. It will boost the sector. But we see even when donors come and give money to the sector and put money in the sector, we see the funds disappear. It does not trickle down to the ordinary man who making a fine Bakpolu or who is in Lofa, who is in Sino or G. We saw a lot of funds being provided by World Bank, the IMF, other, other donors. But today, our sector, you cannot, you cannot match that with the level of progress, in terms of what we hope to achieve in the sector. So yes, we saw recently World Bank gave some amount of money to smallholder, but we saw some of the funds diverted to lawmakers. So what happened to Man Mary Pado Pawise that is doing a backyard farming, or that he have a little acres, he's trying to plant cocoa, rubber, rice, nothing, no support to the ordinary people.
Yes.
What happened to little Paul? I mean, I'm sitting here trying to make my farm hustling, but just a little caveat, when I serve as the director of environmental and social performance with the Millennium Challenge, we're trying to do livelihood restoration for the people who were resettled from within the hydro area.
Yeah.
So we're trying to alternate their livelihood because they were burning coal. So now we wanted to bring them into agriculture and do other things.
Absolutely.
Imagine I've had a couple of agreement with Carrie, the research facility for the Ministry of Agriculture. Carrie, the guy told me, Paul, in Liberia, agriculture is very expensive because they rain here a lot. So most of the things like the pepper, you have to grow them in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
You can't just go grow them. To grow them throughout the year, you have to establish a controlled environment where you'll be able to grow. Greenhouse, and that the initial cost of that can be really high. That's the reason why people just grow the normal stuff. It rains like 6 months of the year, So when you're trying to plant stuff, you want to do it before the rain, or else if it's not controlled, the rain going to temper with the germination, temper with the harvest, temper with a lot of things. So he told me it's very, very expensive, even growing the rice. To have a 24 hours, 24 times around a year rice grown, it requires some more attention, controlled environment before you can grow that.
Yeah.
Well, that will come before you close. Look, the first point you stressed about the subsidies from government, that's key. I've raised that point several times, and that had China got out of poverty. A family plotting system, and government told people, look, you got your yard, you got your place. Government will support you, grow, and government buys. And that's something that people need to do, to get out of that whole food insecurity stuff. But that excuse from the carry, look, I just the same lack of political will. People always find excuse why they can't do certain things. There are people, they got countries that are desert, and they still doing well in agriculture to some extent. But no, they're struggling with water, but they're doing well with agriculture. So they got like America, they have places, some of the places there's snow, and you don't have time to plant. But people found ways to ensure that they still grow their crops, plus or minus the harsh weather. So government needs to look, this is what we want to do, and whatever it takes to drive it, you focus and drive it. And leave that whole excuse about it's difficult, it rains a lot, we need control environment. You need control environment, create a control environment. America was scared of snow. America looking at snow, America will not be growing food. And
but I think I hear your point, but I think in our world, it seems that we have been stuck. We have stagnated in the era of not looking at the climate changes. The world has changed, the climate has changed, weather have changed. So I think we need to kind of come up to par with that. And now the people are using greenhouses, okay? Yeah. And I can tell you can build. And that's what I think, that's where the point where I agree, this is where our agriculture finances should go towards supporting as the world change, as technology is developed. Let's use them to our advantage to help our country. So if we can grow a whole lot more pepper in our country by using a greenhouse that won't get destroyed because of the rainy season, because the rainy season, your pepper gotta have certain level of soil. It can't be all muddy, for it to grow. Even with rice, they got the rice in the swamp rice versus the rice, they can grow on highland, but then if we can leverage the opportunity of where we can plant these things, maybe in a greenhouse, I don't know if that's making an excuse. I think that means just keeping with the times, the changes. climate change is a fact. It's a fact.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, for example, do you wait for sun to shine before you wash your clothes in America?
No, because I have my
So Dr. Richardson,
the point I'm driving at, look for America, for example, or the Western world. They know they have brutal weather. So they say, look, we have to become innovative to solve this problem. So you have washing machine. So you don't have to wait for sun before you wash clothes. You got heater in your house. So even when it snows like from morning to even to 0 degree, you can stay in your house and be comfortable. And you're not going to stress yourself. Today, people are not even stay in their houses and start their car, and warm the car before coming outside to get into it. So it's the innovation.
Correct.
How do I solve this problem? And that's why our government lacking. They just keep money.
As Henry, innovation is not free. The research you put behind innovation is what other countries subsidize. When you hear people talk about government need to create the enabling environment, that is the enabling environment they are talking about. I was in Taiwan. They took me to one city called Kangwon. The folks showed me a place that is less than maybe 100 acres, 200 acres. The guys, they grow rice there every 3 months on the same spot. They've been doing it for the last 50 years. The guy, he carried me to the dietary area where all of the rice that are supplied outside of the country go. Liberia name was on the list. The guy showed me, you from Liberia, we've supplied this metric ton of Liberia this amount of time from right on this farm. The same farm, they've been farming there for over 60 years. Because government has subsidized some of these areas.
Yeah.
And the innovation you're talking about, here in America, if you have a good idea, you write a proposal on your business plan, government give you the money to go and do that if it's going to benefit the people. It is not the same. Omen Kotu, sitting down in Gomolala, may have a brilliant idea on how to grow rice, but how can he start? So normally he goes and grow it, right? And just eat it before he come back from the farm.
Yeah.
So he's not able to do it at a large scale. To be able to do it at a mechanized scale, government needs to step in.
Government needs to come in. 100% agree.
So let's welcome Mr. Agalas.
Create an enabler for the ordinary people to get involved.
Yes, let's welcome Mr. Agalas. And yes, we're just talking about how we can enhance and support the agriculture sector in our country. We know that that part of the of development in our country can be enhanced. We know that. We can see that our country has a rich soil, get a lot of rain. It's just that the innovation of the government and Mr. Duas, he just said, the money gets into the wrong hands, and innovation is expensive sometimes, so sometimes it gets into people who don't need the donor money to improve their farms. And we had our conversation this year before. So that's what we're talking about. So it's about 5 to I'll let you have your say on that, and then we'll go into some of the politics of the day, which everybody seems to be talking about this court case business, so we can jump into that. Okay, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong button here, but it's always a pleasure to be here amongst you, my fellow panelists, and greetings to you all, Phoebe. And I hope my brother is feeling better today. I watched him a little bit the other day, and basically he lost his voice on the show. So we wish him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
But farming, Dr. Richardson, in Liberia, or agriculture sector in Liberia, it is the second sector after education. I think that if we were to harness, can reduce poverty across Liberia. Can address the hunger issue across Liberia, can address the jobs, unemployment issues across Liberia. As you rightly said, Liberia has the potential, the land, we have water, we have the climate also to become one of the major producers of agriculture products and food and value addition. Now, I'm not disagreeing with government intervention because government is the largest employer in our nation. 180 years we still depend on government. But to be able to harness agriculture, I think we need a government and private partnership. Because this is where I think we have the greatest potential, in addition to our natural resources. If we have a government, public and private partnership that will bring in the expert, the resources, and the finances needed. You see, countries that are doing really well, that's what they have done. Public-private partnership allows resources to go to private companies that really have the expertise to produce and add value addition to our agricultural products. And that's the way. So I was head of BRAC in 2014.
Oh, the education, that was the education sector, right?
Yes. So one of the programs BRAC funded at the time was the backyard poultry and livestock and agriculture components. I think it was funded at the time either by one of the oil companies. I'm not going to say the name, right? So they put some money into that, and what we saw was that it actually improved people's livelihoods. So we took families were selected, they receive about 20 to 30 chickens, and then they receive education on how to grow their own vegetables in the backyard, use the waste from the poultry as fertilizer to help produce a backyard, a garden, so they could peppers and all the vegetables that. Now, if you couldn't eat all of that, they could market some of it and sell out of it.
Absolutely.
It was a very successful program, by the way. So we can start small, we can start large, but we have the potential to really improve agriculture. And I know Paul has shared a little bit of his vision. So thanks for that, Paul. We need to talk. I'm a farmer, by the way. I love to farm. I love to grow things. So it is something I would love to take all of you on when you guys want to talk about it some other time. We can really put some time to talk about agriculture and how we can bring some of the knowledge and expertise in Liberia to help our people and our government.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we'll spend some time to organize our thoughts around agriculture. I really think we can, there's a lot of different parts, moving parts that we can sort of dissect a little bit. But so we'll do that. I'd love to have a show. I'm also into agriculture. I happen to have inherited my father's farm. When I think about how do people manage to plant the trees those days, oil palm tree, we just for the first time counted how many trees our dad planted on the farm because we were not interested until now.
They had 7 wives.
My dad did not have 7 wives. Yeah, just one, my mother. Okay, so you are not have. Yeah. So anyway, I was wondering how did they manage, for small kids? But it was. Now we're finding out what it took. But anyway, and I'm also really would like to talk about BRAC. I read a lot. BRAC was supposed to come in to help to improve education in Liberia, and it was looking at using home education method using the computer, if I remember correctly from what I read. But I wanted to know more. How is the success of that program? Because it didn't continue, right, Dr.?
Well, when I was there, it was launched. I think they were kind of like in the planning phases. We had hired a project coordinator for that education component, and BRAC is a multi-sector development organization. Okay. So they are in microfinance, they are in agriculture, they are in education, they are in healthcare. Yeah, in fact, BRAC had one of the largest community healthcare workers in Liberia doing the we tap into the actually start the awareness and to help out a lot during the Ebola crisis of 2014. But that's hopefully it's a program for another day.
So that's what we'll talk about. I got exposed to it because I think while driving in Liberia, I kept on seeing the soundboard with BRAC, but it was the educational soundboard that I kept on seeing. So that was sort of intrigued me about learning more. But let's talk about today. There's many things that are happening in our country. But I like to just first of all get you guys to just talk about what's on your mind before we go into our major topics. So I'd like to start with Fubi. Is there anything extra that you like to sort of talk about what's on your mind? As we usually start the show, we get all the panelists to say what's on their mind.
I'm wearing my suspender, so
What I mean for us here on the show and the audience, y'all be welcome. Y'all thank you to the show. Y'all thank you. Then you welcome. You thank you, your audience. You're welcome. But who will not tell us that you wearing suspended? I don't know what it's supposed to mean to us here. Tell us.
Yeah, as chairman of the suspended people party, so I have to wear my suspender regularly.
So you did see your face, but I had to laugh. Well, I got nothing to say, okay?
Yeah, well, good evening, everybody, and it's a nice day. We look forward to having a good discussion. The other thing, my man, great. I've not heard you use the word exigency for a long time, so I need to hear something tonight. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, let me say good evening to our viewers from all over the world, Liberia, and from our hometown, Bopolu, Sabema. You know, we are very glad to always have you. Dr. Richardson, I'm beginning to think that government upon government in Liberia have orchestrated a way to keep the people uneducated. And the more uneducated people you have, the increase in different chaos and problem, lack of progress, lack of development. To be developed, people have to be educated.
Yeah.
But the government is not doing a lot for the education sector. I uploaded a video in the chat room. That video was some guy who went to former District 7.
Correct.
And went to one school building.
Yes.
To imagine people in 2025 are still seated on palm straw, on blocks.
Let me ask.
It is very disheartening.
Can you upload that video for us? Because I want us to talk about that.
So what's on my mind is that government should begin to pay some attention to getting the Liberian people educated. Dr. Francine, if we get educated, most of the petty little gossip and problem around us will be finished. Our leaders will be innovative to be bringing new development. They will have an open mind into things. But if we are not educated, you got just few people educated in the country, we are not going anywhere. So what's really on my mind is government should begin to prioritize education in Liberia. It is setting us back.
I agree. We'll talk about that. Yes. So let me go to Mr. Gallius. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Again, greetings to our followers in the radio land and online. It's always a pleasure to be here. And our fellow panelists. I think what is on my mind today, first of all, is Friday the 13th. So happy Friday the 13th. For you guys who have watched Craigie and Jason and all those horror movies, today's the night to watch all of the horror movies that you have missed. So happy Friday the 13th. It is June 13th. I've always loved horror movies. But I also wanted to, acknowledge the ruling. I know we're going to go into it today.
Yes, after all of us introduction, that's the first thing.
Exactly. So that's a great one. I think Liberians are eager, but I think initially, Liberia is headed on the right path in terms of justice and accountability, and I hope that this is a start, to ensuring the end of the culture of impunity in our nation. So those are the things that are on my mind today. So happy Friday the 13th, people.
Thank you. Let's go to Mr. Doe, who was here before, and then we're going to go to Mr. Gray, former Representative Gray, and then also Uncle Sam. What's on your mind before going to the major topic of the court ruling today, the court case? There was a big news that came out today. Mr. Doe, Darius?
Yes.
What's on
I
your
think
mind?
my level is getting a little problem, but today will be a promising show. We'll dive into the topics. But what has claimed my attention is the fact that the Liberia Council of Churches have reduced itself to what we're seeing almost like a political institution, beyond political institution now. The church is involved, the institution is involved in awarding all government officials. I mean, I don't know why they are awarding them. but I think it doesn't make sense and it is not biblically correct. All right, you just running beyond government official and awarding them. All right, and I think so. Instead of the Liberia Council of Churches now, we should just call them the Liberia Awarding Institution, because the church should not be used like that.
Oh goodness, that's so funny. I'm sorry, well, Mr. Doko. Yeah, I wanted him to be a little bit more specific and tell us about this awarding of honor to people. We heard recently that the Council of Churches awarded Richard Cohn, and also they did as awarded Speaker Kofa, but I believe Speaker Kofa rejected the award. But I wanted, and then I know there was some hala that happened at the award situation. I wanted him to be a little bit more specific, just to add that on. But it's reminding me, Oprah, if you watch Oprah over here, initially she used to have this, you get award, I get awards. She was giving awards to everybody. So that's what it reminds me of. And, I can't help but to think about that, Mr. Do, when you talk about the Council of Churches. But anyway, let's go to former Representative Gray to just share with us what's on his mind. And then we're going to go to Uncle Sam.
Again, a pleasant good evening to all from my end, the distinguished Republic of Liberia. I enjoy my family life.
Yeah, what life?
I'm enjoying my family life, very relaxed.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very, very relaxed. I heard today is Sis Glennie's birthday. I see people wishing her happy birthday or birthday today.
Yes, it is her birthday today.
Yeah.
We can
I would
also
love to wish her a happy birthday, a pleasant and lovely birthday to her. One of my dearest sisters on the program. But I always on my mind is the manner in from which the society is degenerating in every sector, whether politically, economically, socially. The problems in our country is becoming compound complex without any solution for the problems, and those who claim to have the best skills in solving our problems with man's quote-unquote experience, I seem not to understand where they're coming from and where they are going. And I'm not surprised by the court ruling. I mean, the decision of the court today for the full trial.
Hang on to that thought a little bit, because we're going to go deeply inside of it after.
Yeah, I guess it was on my mind. I'm not surprised about that. So yeah, a lot of things on my mind, a lot of things. And I know some of those things, Paul talked about the educational sector, somebody talked about the churches, council of churches. I think that's the most compromised entity in Liberia that should hold the integrity of the country and settle dispute and bring people together. They are so divided, believe me today. And I know exactly what I'm saying. The public is saying it. Even human rights groups, civil society organizations, for example, that should hold the government feet to the fire or hold the opposition feet to the fire. That should be a neutral entity. I don't think people feel comfortable running to them anymore. When you begin to take money from Satan, then just declare your church as the church of Satan's. Because, when you call officials, for example, corrupt, and you honor them, okay, the big corruption. So I'm not saying all of the churches, don't get me wrong. I'm saying some people are compromised. Because I want my voice to go clear before they say you attack all of the churches. No, I'm very clear. But the council of churches, I can tell you that leadership have been compromised for a very long time, for all the last 8 years. I can say that for sure. And I hold no apology. They are compromised dangerously.
Yes. So you are on this end thinking that Liberia is degenerating, and on the other end, I hear Mr. Gallas thinking about we're addressing the issue of the culture of impunity, giving us a different story here. So this is why I like Spoon. You would come and hear the diversity of thoughts popping up here and giving our people something to think about. So if you're out there in radio land, you're on social media, I want to welcome you. I'm now going to turn on my attention to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam?
Yeah, thank you very much. Happy Friday to everyone. I'm having a great sort of rest here in the United States. I'll be here for the next few months until August. I'm just really enjoying myself in the little town of McDonough in Henry County. What what I'm thinking about, what I always think about is the prosperity for our people. I mean, the country deserves so much better. You know, it's like, and when you ask questions, then you elicit such animosity from people when you ask him the strategic plan for education. You talked about education earlier, Paul Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the education sector plan to improve literacy? I mean, and STEM education. The purpose of education is not just to give knowledge for knowledge's sake.
Mm-hmm.
It should be demand driven. What is the job market? And today, if you remember, I don't know if anyone of you remember, I posted about Indian accountants, Filipino pastry sellers, foreign heads of housekeeping in the hotels in Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? And if you look at the major mining companies, all the technical areas are 90% are foreigners. Metal, steel. More than 3/4 of their technical staff is from South Africa. They have 3 months contracts, right, at a time, and then they go home for 3 months and they come back again. But like welders, bricklayers, all of those basic artisanal skills for people, the best bricklayers in Liberia are Ghanaians. The best roof people in Liberia are Ghanaians. You know, I mean, I had to hire somebody from Ghana to put tile in my house. This is like about 11, 12 years ago. So what is the strategic plan to educate people to earn an income and to make them taxpayers and valuable members of society?
Sure.
That is a start. And no one expect any miracle. But I'm saying just for us to know that we have started the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you start, you know that, going to say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And we have not even begun the first steps. And that's what's always troubling to me.
Yes. So Uncle Sam, you are asking really great questions about education sector. We're going to be talking about that during the next part of my agenda here today. We're going to talk about the court case, and then after that, we'll go into that tape that someone was talking about. I think Mr. Kennedy was talking about, that was shown about how our education school looks in, I believe it's Bond County. I saw that tape floating around on social media. So we're going to talk about that, and your points will be well taken and could be expanded on during that time. But yeah, let's go into the court situation today. Lorena, if you're listening, can you there was an interesting video, something to just warm us up a little bit. Do you have that?
Is a representative.
The video with Councilor Pearl Bull on it, when she was telling us that she's not supporting the rule of law. Well, she was supporting the rule of law, but she's not supporting Kofa's case right now. I think it would be a good thing just for us to begin talking about this subject matter. Do you have that, Lorena? If not, we'll just, she's texting me right now, so just hang up. But yes, so today, the court ruled, they denied motions to dismiss changes against Kofa and the 3 lawmakers during this week of preliminary hearing, okay? So Judge Ben Barker, that's his name, Judge Ben Barker said that there was not sufficient information or evidence to dismiss the case. So it means that the case is going now to proceed with jury trial. So there was arguments initially for this case to be dismissed because of perhaps lack of sufficient evidence, but now we're saying that this case is now transferred to criminal court A, where there's a strong likelihood that the defendants, in the name of Kofa and the 3 lawmakers, will be formally indicted. Okay, so that's the news that we got today in Liberia. I'm wondering, I mean, I pretty much know what your thoughts are, especially when I think of someone like Fubi. He's been very strong in opinion in there, but his thoughts here. I'm gonna go to you first. So what are you thinking? Do you think we are moving in the right direction to have this case go to trial? Are you satisfied that the evidence was not strong enough for us to dismiss the lawmakers? What are your thoughts, Fubi?
Yeah, it was for me. I always said every single Liberian, and if everybody will be honest, we are all interested in knowing who all participated in the burning of the Capitol. If it was indeed burned down by individuals, as have been stated by several sources, and the government have also pinned down that it was with the different reports from the police, fire service, and the retired servicemen from Minnesota confirmed that it was not an accident, but it was actual human intervention that caused the Capitol to be burned down. So every one of us, we are all interested in knowing who all participated in that act. And so for me, I think we shouldn't be running away from if you know like the charges against the lawmakers does not in any way make them guilty. So the prosecution have all the weight on them to ensure that they prove that they are guilty and they are linked to the case, to the burning of the Capitol. So it's only fair to go through the trial and let them be able to push through. And that's my disappointment about the whole law issue. Most of the time, people fight. You see councillors on the stage fighting and trying to refuse for evidence to be admitted into into the court's record. So if you show that you actually didn't do it, whatever evidence they bring, you should be, let them put it up. Don't say dismiss it, dismiss it, dismiss it. Even though they say, oh, that is a legal strategy. And that's why for me, the whole law issue, my family are lawyers. I say I'm not going to go into the law because all of those things for me, they don't make sense. And sometimes somebody will commit a crime, and the way you got the evidence, the consent, they make you. But how you got the evidence, how you got the recording that they make you? Look at an argument. And I brought a video recording that the man murdered somebody, but you asking me how I obtained the recording, why I didn't ask the man permission, or why I didn't get court warrant to go and get it. But I broke through the man's house, or I found a way to go and record it and show it. And then because of that, it's a ground to dismiss that evidence. That because you got the manner in which you got it. They're not saying the man didn't do it, but how you got the evidence to come and bring it, it should be a problem. For me, I thought that that makes sense. And that's something that I would say, yeah, first I say, ooh, one down chat and everybody move on. But so it's good that we go to let them go to full trial and let them go and do the argument. And the police said, the prosecutor said they only produced 10% of the evidence. If that's true, then look forward to seeing more. And also the recording that everybody was talking, oh, is AI generated. Yesterday, they got called back confirmed that argument actually, that conversation actually took place in Abu Kamara car with two NSA operators being in the car when the conversation took place. So so the whole issue about AI has been put behind to rest. So now it's an authentic recording that took place. Whether it was linked to burning of the Capitol or it was just for like you said, oh, we want to provide security for ourselves. The majority black was never attacking the minority black. So I don't see where they needed to provide security for themselves. Because all the fight that was done, it was the minority that was carrying all the fight to the majority. All the majority did, they just used the law, suspended them, were happy, and humiliated them, and so forth. They never one day went to war, they still want to go into some attack. All from the 17th of October. All the physical attacks on the majority black came from the Capitol from the minority. So I don't see why they'll be talking about building manpower, having something plan B or something big to do, and they're talking about let put want to buy the guy around. No, I don't think so. But let them go to the court and let's see, and we'll witness we'll follow the trial, and whatever the case is, they can put it to rest and we can move forward as a country. But it's a good thing for the country.
Thank you, Fubi. I always from now on I associate you with Sassewood business, in face of some justice. I together, yeah, we together Sassewood, okay. But anyway, let's move on to the candidate. What are your thoughts? Because here it is, Fubi is saying, he didn't care about how you gather your evidence. When the evidence should just be presented, whether you jump through the window to see somebody kill somebody. He won't know how you got the evidence. He just won't know did you kill or did you not kill somebody? Did you burn the Capitol building or did you not burn the Capitol building? Right? If I'm interpreting you right. So what are your thoughts about that?
You know, Phoebe needs to understand that law is not emotion. You know, what could be emotionally or morally right under the law is really not what matters. It's the evidence, the hardcore evidence that you are able to present. And I think we are heading on the right course. Look, this, like I said yesterday, this case is a test for the government of the Republic of Liberia to be able to, you know, for people, the people will see how strong is our justice system. People are sitting there watching. This is a high-profile case. People want to see, you know, all the evidence provided. And somebody say, oh, the opponent provided 15, 20% of their case. I mean, their evidence. Of course, you want them to provide all the main evidence they got. What if the preliminary judge kicked that out? If they ban it, then you got nothing to fight with. So I think they are keeping their big guns, you know, so that when the game ready start. Because at this point, they are only trying to arrange them to send them to the court now where the justice is supposed to start doing their work. So you go and present your hardcore evidence and they both shoot it down and say, this is not admissible in court. We are taking it out. Then you can bring in. Then what do you have to try the case upon? So I'm not a lawyer, but just from a common understanding of what they are doing, I think the lawyers are trying to play along and the prosecutor is trying to hold what they have to their chest so that when they deliver it, they can be able to do the work. So, you know, let's hope and see what this thing becomes. I trust that the police and the government said they have evidence. We'll be waiting to see what evidence they have to admit in court for them to, you know, hold the trial upon. So I think it's a time of test and trial for the Republic, right? Everybody's watching this case and everybody's going to be looking to see how they are going through with the evidence they are providing to be able to tie and link the people into the alleged crime they say they committed. So it's going to be interesting. Let's watch and see.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Callis?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Richardson. I think first of all, we must applaud, you know, the decision by Judge
Marco
to rule that this case should proceed to trial. And based on his rulings, based on objections that was raised by the defense of those accused representative, he felt that in his ruling that these are issues that can be determined, decided by a jury. So I think based on today's ruling, we can deduce that this is going to be a jury trial. And we look forward to that. But for too long, Liberia has struggled with a culture of impunity. And this is where we come in. And over the last several weeks, you know, individuals have come out and they have made reckless statements in the media. People have even tried to, you know, mobilize other citizens to protest, to get in the street, instead of allowing the rule of law and the process to go on. And I think this is good for our people to understand. Look, no one, whether you are a former speaker, whether you are a representative, or whether you are a former president or a former representative, no one, or sitting representative rather, no one is above the law. No one is above the Constitution and the law of Liberia. And citizens need to understand that in order to have a society that works for everyone, in order to have a society where we have peaceful cohabitation, in order to have a society and an economy, you know, that's attracting foreign direct investment, one of the challenges we need to address is the issue of governance and rule of law. And there are many challenges across Liberia: education, healthcare, agriculture, and all of that. But governance and the rule of law remains one of our major challenges. To be able to attract FDI or foreign direct investment in a country, people have to be convinced that when they come into a country like Liberia, that their investment, their property, and their rights are going to be secure through the law. That they're not going to wake up one day and a group of lawmakers or a group of Liberians going to wake up and take the law into their own hands and there's no recourse. And as Paul said, it's a test case for Liberia. But for too long, it's not because we are lacking laws in Liberia, Dr. Richardson, but it is because we lack implementation and we don't hold ourselves and the people accountable. And I hope that this is a beginning for our justice system. There are tons of things that need to be addressed. But given the fact that we have high-profile individuals who have been indicted, in addition to ordinary citizens, about 6 of them, I have the names here. At some point, maybe I'd like to share those names. Everyone should be given their fair shot under our laws and under the rules. We shouldn't treat one group shouldn't have a preferential treatment because they are lawmakers or because they have means over another group of people that are lingering in jail. They can't even get their bail approved. Now, I don't know the conditions why they haven't gotten bail. They haven't posted bail. But this is when we call on the justice system. We call on our judges and our Supreme Court to watch this issue, to monitor it and to follow it, and to advise the judges to be fair and to be impartial and to deliver justice, so that Labrampo can understand that this government is taking steps to end the culture of impunity. And this is the beginning. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to unmute myself. So let's go to the former Representative Gray, and then we'll come to you to take us home on this matter, Uncle Sam. Yeah, so we are hearing what everyone's saying, that this court case so far is a good eye-opening case for the Liberian people in terms of the rule of law and justice in our country. That's basically I'm getting. So former Representative Gray, what are your thoughts on having this court proceed on to a jury trial?
Obviously, I'm not a 90% of these cases will always go up. So it's not a strange thing, except those who have not followed court issues in Liberia. But for me, this is a mockery of justice and a tacit act of wish hunt. Look, let's start talking about this government at least respect for the rule of law. The president doesn't respect the rule of law. Let's stop this joke. The Supreme Court rule in this country, the president violated the Supreme Court ruling. How can you talk about justice when the president himself has violated the ruling of the Supreme Court? 10 new positions, for example, he violated the law that he signed onto. As former vice president for 12 years, all the 10 new positions were created under his administration, 99%. He comes to violate the very laws. Is that justice? Is that respect for the rule of law? That's what we call selective justice. Extreme selective justice. This reminds me when I was arrested by state security forces and charged for treason, sedition, arson, different things you can talk about. In fact, they even lied. They used a Truth FM tape. One journalist said, because it's not me, that Mobile Modo and I have brought 2 loads of arms and ammunition, truck load, and put it in the Dupo Road community. Yes, they even lied that they didn't even arrest me in my car and said I was arrested in my vehicle with arms and ammunition and jugs. And they couldn't even prove that in the court. It's a pure cartoon case. Everything they had given it up. They even brought John Yanti on June 6th to the country from Ghana in NSA protected area on RIA Road. There's nothing about that. You know the law is very clear. Somebody said they believe Yeke today, the Yeke that they insult every day, they say he has no credibility. But it's in our favor, then they believe Yeke. That's the level of hypocrisy that we're talking about. You talk about, I say the country is degenerating. When I talk about the degeneration of the country, economically, politically, and socially, these are the things we're talking about. I can say respect for the rule of law when 10 new positions were crashed under this administration. I can say respect for the rule of law when the Supreme Court recognized a legitimate speaker with just state security forces and making vulnerable, and you say they shouldn't ask for security protection. The certain speaker of the country and lawmakers, they would use security forces from them, the EPS, and that of the police. I will move to Capitol Building protecting myself. Even where I sit now, protect myself. I'm going to move in the street of Maria, go to work. When we had crisis at the Capitol building, I provided security for myself because I didn't trust the state security forces. They could withdraw there anytime. You saw what happened. They took the sovereign, took the police patrol car from the speaker, and then you talk about, say, he became vulnerable. You want to talk about respect for the rule of law, the Capitol building saga? Publicly, Yahya Kodobaka was being broken into publicly, instructed by the current speaker. Where is he? He's not being arrested. He's not being interrogated. He instructed the bossing of the then speaker door publicly. We all saw it on television, and we're talking about selective justice. That's why when I say this case is a cartoon case, we'll go to the 4 grand jury and let's see. They will be defeated. The government has no evidence. The government has paraded all of the pieces of evidence they have. Bunch of lie, promising somebody $100,000, give $50,000 to go stand in court and preach against fanatical people. Yeah, there's $100,000, 50,000 will be available very soon for somebody.
Okay, former Representative Gray. I see that some people have some questions to ask you just from the body language. So after everyone say their piece, then we'll do some little bit of questioning of each other here today. But Uncle Sam, thank you for your thoughts. Uncle Sam?
Thank you very much. The quality of mercy, okay, is not strained. The quality of justice is not strained. It dropped it from heaven like the rain above, okay? So let's just basically just listen to what people are saying. Oh, all of a sudden, this government is interested in the rule of law. Which government is interested in the rule of law? Is this a joke? Come on, guys. Listen to yourselves. Look at your preceding pronouncements and arguments that were made here. Let's start from the very beginning. The inaugural money. The audit showed that the money was squandered. Has anybody been indicted? None. Further, there is prima facie evidence of crime committed in the executive with the collaboration of Joseph Nyima Boaka and Minister Sylvester Grisby on the misuse of pensioners' monies, $500,000 to buy vehicles, and those vehicles are nowhere to be found. That's the fact. I'm not making anything up. You went illegally in the streets with yellow vests like the Gestapo, and you arrested personal properties of private citizens. Didn't you do that? You took away the former IG car. You went and you confiscated in broad daylight the vehicles that belong to a private citizen without any court proceeding. Worst of all, a group of Army non-commissioned officers in the armored personnel vehicle went in the streets of Monrovia and flogged police officers. Where is that report? Where is that report? Dr. Richardson, have you seen that report in any public domain? Have you seen anyone talk about the outright theft of public resources from NASCAR by this criminal regime? Did you see my colleagues on the other side on this panel ever talk about the rule of law when the Supreme Court ruled unambiguously in the Bill of Information to say that the Richard Kuhn administration was illegal? Did you see them? Did you see them do anything about this fake Minister of Justice that said he was interpreting the Supreme Court ruling and did it in a way that undermined our justice system? Did you see them talk? That's why sometimes I don't even feel like dealing with them. Because this dishonesty, this hypocrisy, this chicanery, this complete selective It's not even amnesia. Selective justice doesn't all go well. How do you want to have a good school system when you don't have a good justice system? How do you want to have a good economic development system when you don't have a good justice system to adjudicate commercial disputes in courts of competent jurisdiction? You think you're going to get a Bank of America or Wells Fargo or JP Morgan Chase to set up office in Monrovia in the midst of the abyss, contravention of the rule of law? Contravention of the rule of law, and you think you're going to have people bringing billions of dollars? All you have to come to Liberia are dodgy companies. They will exploit your resources. They will pay off your lawmakers and people in power. And you've been the 8th poorest country now for how long?
Okay, Uncle Sam.
Okay, for how long have you been the 8th poorest country? It's because your justice system is non-existent. That's why you are the 8th poorest country. Justice delayed is justice denied.
So
thank you very much.
Thank you, Uncle Sam. So I'm the sense I'm getting is this is kind of what's happening on the streets of Monrovia. We have people who are thinking, great, we are beginning to address this culture of impunity. We are beginning to address this kind of idea that everything happens in this country and we have the laws in the book, but it's not. It doesn't get applied to other people. And then there's other people who are thinking, we need to go back. We need to go back. You can't just start taking people to court now. So justice is selective in this country. I want accountability for things that happened before. Why should we spend our energy on things that are happening now? That's so. I'm going to just ask Uncle Sam and former Representative Gray before I get to Mr. Akalas to respond, to react, because he was one of the body language that I noticed when things were happening here. So when do we start, former Representative and Uncle Sam? When do we start to go to court? Because you guys listed a whole list, and I'm concerned about that list as well. like the previous injustices that were done in the country. You talked about your Uncle Sam talked about the inauguration fund. You talked about, someone, the anti-rule of law, how they behaved prior to or shortly after the burning, or even prior to the burning of the Capitol building. So the question is, when do we begin to go to court? When do we start? How do we keep on this? You did this, you did that. When do we start?
Yeah, are you asking me?
Now I'll let former Representative Gray go first, and then you come on, Uncle Sam, and I can repeat myself if you guys didn't hear me clearly.
The government, from the onset of inauguration funds, should have nipped the traces, the symptoms, and the established facts of corruption by taking these people to court. The reason why this case will consistently remain a political case is the manner and form in which the president proceeded. The highest court of the land came over the ruling. The president challenged the ruling and said, I will do business with the majority. The president is the custodian, the biggest custodian of the Constitution and all other laws of the Republic of Liberia. The biggest custodian is the President of the Republic of Liberia. But the biggest custodian of the rule of law to begin to broadly butcher the rule of law and pursue those that he fought gallantly to remove from office, even in the midst of the Supreme Court ruling. It means that this government does not have the moral standing to go after any other person. Okay. That's what it means to me. Not only that. The cream of people at the police that I know, they have a group of liars who have lied on me, who can manufacture lies and try to suit it on you. That's why they don't win cases usually. Had they arrested those who were on assignment that night or interrogated them, Had they investigated the majority block and or lawmaker who were there that night and appeared on Spoon, had they impartially gone through the entire matter, the question would not have been they are being selective in their approach. That would have never been the question today about selective justice. But as far as the police herself became a party to the conflict and beat some lawmaker, assign their people there, and they cannot hold them accountable, and conflicting statement on the police, there was sporadic gallons all over the area according to the police director, sporadic. The fire people came and said, no, there was 1 gallon at the entrance. The president comes and says it's an arson without any prior investigation. That prejudice the case itself.
Okay. So thank you for more. Did you want to add anything to what former Gray said, Uncle Sam, and then I'll let Mr.
I like to look at the bigger picture, because my friends from the other side would make this fake pretense to erudition that they know this, they know this, they know this. You said people killed people. You read on a platform that auditors were killed. Missing boys, their parts were extracted. People were bringing drugs into the country. These are your allegations. These are your allegations. You've been in power 17, 18 months. Have you investigated the missing audit, the so-called auditors that were killed? Have you investigated? Have you investigated the missing boys? Have you investigated the $100 million drug that was supposedly brought into the country? What have you investigated?
The 16 billion.
All of the transgressions that you lay at the feet of the unit of the CDC government. You have the apparatus of the state at your disposal. You have the court system, you have the police, you have the paramilitary, you have the military, and you have the resources. You can buy, you can outsource an investigation to competent investigators. You have all of those things. Why haven't you done it? You haven't done it because you know that you lied. You know that you inflated your own egos, and you told lies to the Liberian public that you cannot prove, and therefore you will not investigate those because you know they were lies.
Okay, so Uncle Sam, and I'm hearing you, Liberians, I'm hearing you, and I'm sure a lot of them share the views of what you and former Representative Gray are espousing right now. But the question means, like, when do we put Liberia on the right track? Do we have to address all these past injustices? And that's not my question. I'm just putting this out here. Would you address the inauguration fund? Should we address the auditors? And then, should we spend the same energy in doing those things as we're spending now to address this case? So I want you to come in, Mr. Gallas, and what are your thoughts?
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. And I'm shaking my head. I'm showing my body language because I disagree with our elder Sam Jackson here and former Representative Gray.
You don't have to placate me. Just make your point. Don't call me your elder. Just make your point. I beg you.
It's respect. It's respect.
No, but that's okay. That is
okay, don't interrupt me now. Let me have my time, Mr. Jackson. Let me have my time.
But don't mention me like that. I mean, because
let me have my time, Mr. Jackson, please. I'm gonna have my time.
I understand. Nobody asked you your own busy.
Let me have my time. The question is very simple, Dr. Richardson. When do we start? When is it the right time to start to end the culture of impunity in Liberia? And the time is now. The time is now. The time is today. If we start to justify, because we can't hold these people accountable now because the president didn't accept the Supreme Court ruling, or because the auditors were killed and he hasn't reopened the investigation, or he hasn't found their killers. Look, we cannot allow people who have failed this country or who have had their time to serve as representative for 6 years and 12 years, or be close advisors to the president of this country and give them wrong advice, to become the moral arbiters of justice or defenders of democracy. They are not. These are people who are better driven. Let me tell you, I'm not afraid to speak the truth and to speak the fact because I'm not better driven. You see, my loyalty is not to a political party. My loyalty is to Liberia. If I affiliate with a political party because I want to do so, I want to bring my ideas to bear where I can join a group to make a difference in our society, in our country. But we have a society today where people are more loyal to a political party, to a group, than to our nation. So we cannot sit here and allow those people to become the defender of justice. It is always right. The time is always right to do right. The time is always right to hold people accountable. The time is always right to ensure that we begin to end the culture of impunity. And if this government can go back, even for people who have gone to the University of Liberia campus and brutalized students, then we can go back to that time and hold them accountable. If we can go back to 20 years, 35 years, when a military man came on the stage, Samuel Kayando, and received bad advices that led us to a full-blown civil war, that led to the death of 250,000 people, then we should go back to that. We should hold people accountable. If we have to go back 6 years, where we saw auditors being killed in the streets of Monrovia, where we saw young people disappear, we don't know what happened to them. Then we should go back to that. But the time is always right to hold people accountable and to begin to set the pace so that future generations will know that those in power are entrusted, with the authority to not only be the defenders of the Constitution of Liberia, but to be the protectors of the rest of the citizens. And that's why we need to end the culture of impunity in Liberia. I will rest for now.
Thank you, Mr. Gal. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Henrys and Mr. Kennedy to give us some final closing words on this topic here.
Yeah, so it's funny.
Henry, no Sasa will talk yet.
I know it. So, it's funny when people say, the president disobeyed the Supreme Court. I always say this. The Supreme Court, let's even talk about it. They're trying to leave this case, the substance of the case, and divert. Take people's mind from the case and say, look, let's look at all of these things. Those are diversionary tactics. And it will not work. You can try and play all the games, but at the end of the day, the case will go to court. The lawyers will go there and go and show their strength. The best you can do for Kofa and his team is to put the best lawyers together, let them go in the court to go and defend Kofa. And plead and push the prosecution out to say that whatever evidence you brought is not worth it. And that's where they're supposed to go. We all come on the radio and the public and Facebook and other social media to give our own opinions. But at the end of the day, it is the court that going to justify and get that stuff. To even say the president disobeyed the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, the president said, let's go back to the turning position. The Supreme Court say the people cannot be removed. But the Supreme Court also cannot prevent the president from suspending them. So the president suspended them. So he didn't violate the Supreme Court. There were allegations that were stuff he suspended them. The issue about the Kofa, legitimacy of Kofa, I've said it several times. And the Supreme Court can make errors. And the last time some lawyers were on the same platform, they were disagreeing with the Supreme Court ruling of 1986. But in 2025, they say, no, the Supreme Court cannot make error. No, the Supreme Court is subject to error. There are human beings there. They're not on the Supreme Court bench because they are the best lawyers in the country. That politics put them there. And the political favor put them there. So they are subject to error. And the bar association even condemned their ruling. And I said it, the Supreme Court had no face to fry in a saga. Only the lawmakers decide their saga. And that's how they did it. At the end of the day, all the laws were made. It was the lawmaker going to set up to decide who becomes speaker. It was not the Supreme Court ruling. And the Constitution prevents the president from taking action against the legislature. So if the Supreme Court rules and says take action, the president is not under obligation to do it because the Constitution prevents him from doing that. So the president did not violate the Supreme Court ruling. And you cannot hold the country hostage because of one person. And that's what Kofa should have done. The honorable thing, like Snow did, like Tyler did. for the sake of the country. Step aside, move. But he said, no, I will be here. I will die on the field. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hui. But you're taking us way back, which is questionable to ask. Can we walk and chew gum? Can we walk and chew gum at the same time? Can we, take the people who are accountable for burning the Capitol building to court using the laws, okay? And at the same time, look at what happened during the past time when, the money that was spent there, whether money was misappropriated or not. Can we walk and chew gum at the same time in our country? Do we just not everybody focus using energy on the court case? Okay, but there are things that happen, and as I hear you guys, there's two sides to the story here. There are things that happen that needs to address. So the things that happen make a large group like Liberia. I can't trust this legal system. I can't trust the government. And some people are saying, yes, I want justice to start now. I can trust this government. I can trust the legal system. Is the place to start. But anyway, come on in, Mr. Kennedy. What's your thoughts? And then we'll go on to the last topic of the day.
Our Capitol building was burned down.
Mm-hmm.
The police arrested people of interest, arraigned them, and forwarded them over to court with certain amount of evidence on their hands. Nobody here can tell me that the process was a misstep, because nobody has been found guilty and nobody has been found not guilty.
Yeah.
I will trust our legal system for now until they can give me the benefit of the doubt, or they can prove me right to say, what they're going to be. Look, when the framers of Liberia constituted what became a country in 1822, and then they went back and forth and legalized it in 1847, they had this vision of a Liberia that was going to give them a freedom, emancipate them from the slavery that they were in the United States. But let me tell you what the framers did. They diverted from that vision. They missed their steps. They brought nepotism. They became favorable. They were ruthless. They were condescending to the native they met. They deviated from the impulse of justice. They rendered justice only to themselves and their elites. They fouled the system. And we have been fighting with that foul system for the last 178 years now.
Yeah.
When do we make it right? We can start today. We can go back 177 years to go right anything. Those days are gone. It cost us 250,000 and more lives. It broke down our education system. It broke down our health system. It denigrated our status from the United Nations and brought us down. We are just beginning to pick up those pieces. So this case for me is a test of the time of our country. It's a test to see that our country is beginning to get back on the right trajectory. The police have done the best they could, arrested people who they thought were associated with what happened, turned them in with the evidence they have. Now it is pending on the court to examine the evidence and listen to the testimonials to come and say, listen, these people are guilty or not guilty. Until we can hear that, I'm not going to overlook my system. Let me tell you something. The hierarchy of the humanness is God first, country next. There's nothing over country. I've been perplexed sitting and listening to Liberians who take political party and put it over country. Where have you seen that? There can be nothing over country. So you leave the United Party and the CDC thing. The two parties have failed our country. We as a people are looking now to see how we can start a new beginning to go forward. Right? So let's hear that kind of argument when we come forward. Not a United Party or a CDC thing. Because none of them is a Jesus to me.
So you can join the CMC. Okay.
Dr. Richardson, can I have 1 minute, please? Dr. Richardson, just 1 minute.
Okay, all right. Yes, okay. Yes. Let's close this topic after you do.
So people who come on a platform should understand the history. They should know the facts. They should know the evidence. They should know the personality, and they should know the degree of involvement. This kid spent no more than a year in the Doe government, 10 months. Your president was a major in the PRC. He spent 40 years in government. He spent 12 years as vice president. He spent years with Talbot. He was the one with proximity to Talbot. He was the one with proximity to who? To Dole. He was vice president for 12 years with the closest proximity. There is no other relationship in a political economy that is closer between a president and a vice president. And now he's president.
Okay.
You want to excuse him?
So
you want to excuse me and indict me? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was banned for 30 years from politics, but you all forced her to the presidency. You did.
So let's
is a blot on your historical record. So when you want to talk about me and you throw hints, talk about the man in the mirror today who is guiding the political economy of Liberia with his 45 or 50 years experience.
We gotta move. So
I'm just saying I have to make that clear to the Republic of Liberia that if you talk about historical antecedents, people who are responsible, you cannot excuse Joseph Yima Boyka. Never.
So let's
and
move
Johnson
on.
Sirleaf. You cannot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's move on to our next topic, but I just want to make some clarity and let Liberians be aware that of a few things that they have to look out for. Number one, the case did not have a ruling yet for anybody who is for or against burning the Capitol building. They didn't say that Kofi did it or he did not do it. So we need to be clear about that. There are several charges involved in this case, and everybody have their own individual charges, ranging from arson all the way to criminal facilitation, ranging to conspiracy. All of these different charges require different types of evidence to rule if you are guilty or not guilty. So I don't want a couple of months down the road when the charges are when people are found guilty or not for different charges, and Liberians say, oh, this person cheated or this person didn't get the charge I was expecting. So the man did it. He said, I'm just transferring this case to another criminal court A because I don't have all of the legal equipments, the legal reasoning to judge this case here. Okay, my time is over. This court has this limitation. We're going to move it to the people where they will most likely have a jury trial. That's what he said. So I just want us to know that no decisions have been made yet. They're just moving the case from one place to the other. So that now we that bring people, we just got to keep our ears out. It's in the court. We'll listen to it. So I want to close this with some fun. Lorraine, can you please play? If you're listening to me, I know you've been texting me. Can you please play what Councilor Boo said earlier today?
Mosque 12 o'clock, you see me here? Amos Sawyer, they having something. I'm going to the mosque and I brought my potato greens or any kind of spray here. I know the medicine. What is the potato green for? You know? No. I'm on my way to the mosque. Are you a Muslim? Today, they having something in honor memorial of a Sawyer Foundation, Amos Sawyer. Okay. Amos Sawyer was a politician. Amos Sawyer, it was during his time, his interim government, when my husband, former Chief Justice, who was nominated to serve as Chief Justice, he's an activist. So I'm going there. You see, I brought my potato green. Oh, the last time when they sprayed me with tear gas, my boys on the street told me, say, raw potato green. So I went there. I had to come to the court every time to probate court. So I said, now leave it. I see the tea. So anything.
So will you be willing to join the legal team for Kofa? Because you're representing him out there at the police station.
That's a damn lie. I was not representing him. I was representing him. The rule of law. That's why I don't have your girls interview me, because you read, you learn, and you listen, you talk. They say, you say, I say, and I in the say.
But it's the same rule of law that continues. Kofa is in it.
Please, if you got some kind of thing against or for Kofa, leave me, or not for me more, you go here, Titi Gabele.
Okay. I really truly can enjoy Cousin Abu,
yeah.
and I want to give credit to whoever recorded that tape. I don't know who did it. It was hard to see the name of the person, but thank you for allowing us to use your recording on Spoon. But say that?
Good laugh.
Yes. You have to give it to her because one of the things she said, we in Africa, we like, bro, that's what this cool kids really got to be. She said, no, they say you say I say business. Let us keep our ears open and be attentive to this case and see how the crimes will come down and how the case will be decided. So nobody should come bring no they say, I say, and you say, so we can go carry the news, say, Titi got better this way or she got better that way. Yeah, I enjoy that part. So I just wanted to know. She said, yeah, you got to get here. I will tell you, say, how Titi got better.
The Brampo enjoy G's. They love the G's.
I tell you that true, but that she said no. She not gonna tell say I think got better. Okay, so let's move on and to we're talking a little bit about the education sector, and although I heard you, Mr. Akalis, talk about BRAC having many dimensions in what they had to offer to Liberia, but I remember just BRAC being in the education sector, so you may have something to share about this, but Lorena, can you just play that video for us? Let's talk about our thoughts. This is so sad. In 2025, okay, this is what parts of our education looks like, especially when you go outside of Monrovia. Monrovia
is a representative of this district. We have county education officer, we have district education officer. Now, let me take you in the public school. Because public school, when you say public, it's owned by the government, that is Labrimpo only. You look at the school. This is the Ministry of Education run school. The Ministry of Education running the place here. I think it's an office here. So, but look at the fellow Liberians. Look what they did here. All the millions of dollars given to the Ministry of Education. This is the Quinbas Town Public School. This is where the people, the young generation, the children who's supposed to take over from Waka, His Excellency, the children who's supposed to take over from Richard Kuhn, the children who's supposed to take over from Vice President Pan, Yogi Kanga Lawrence. They're supposed to take over. This is where the state federal Liberians. You see here, June 6, 2025. June 6, 2025. So yesterday, the children sat here. This is where they sit. Right here. Gio, come. We in class. Gio, come. We in class. Come sit down there. The teacher. Look what they would listen to the teacher. My father, my mother, my sister, my father, sister is mine. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that the place. Do you say that yet? Right, sure. Yeah. Sure study. Yeah. Class work. 1. My father's sister is my who? The auntie. My auntie. Okay. My mother is my uncle. My sister is my sister. My father brother is my uncle. So when we went to Maracam to Chicago tomorrow, yeah. He come here also in the Umwe. This is what we see. This is what you see here. The public school fellow Liberians, run by the Ministry of Education. Don't say it's not in function. It's functioning because when you see over there, June 6, 2025. Today is June 7, Saturday. Yesterday was Friday. This is where the generation of this country, education is not a privilege, but it's a right to all Liberians. Whether you're rich, you're poor, fellow Liberians, look at it. Share the video. Look here where the children sit. This is where they sit. Let's go to the next class. Yeah. So that's what they use. Yeah. Teacher, we want to go. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, almost reset now. Yeah, almost reset. Level. Doctor, get the level. This is another class. June 6. So where are the kids sitting? Where? So, for what we're seeing here, not on a grade second or grade 2, what? You see there? Second and third. In a second and third, 6 what? 6 period. Math. And you see, that June 6, right? 2025. So the students were here yesterday. So where do they sit? So they come with their own chairs. And they sit in Monrovia and they say they are running public schools. This is another class here, fellow Liberians. This is another class. Why did my mother, why God even brought my mother to Liberia and now another country? Fellow Liberians, it's appalling. It is disheartening. Where is the county education officer? Where is the district education officer? They are the people who are supposed to report back to central office and tell the people what is happening. There's another class here. Oh, wow. Okay. This is the Ministry of Education. This is district number 7. Former district. The lawmaker for this district is who for the family. Yeah, yeah. Come closer. Yeah, yeah. That black book. That's what the Ministry of Education pay for. That black book here. That black book. So what I want to do now, I come and move inside here. So I will close the window so I can be sleeping now. And you see it? A black boy out. Get the chairs on the bench. Yes, sir. How do you describe when education is not a privilege? We see one, I don't know how to describe, we see over there. Fellow Liberians, I'm out of words.
You know one thing about Soya?
I think they wanted
to. This is sad.
Yes. Very heartbreaking. But I like to give credit to, I believe, the recorder there and the person who was speaking is journalist Daniel Rogers. Daniel Rogers, thank you for allowing us to use your tape here on the Spoon platform. I'm going to show you another video about what happens to the students when that environment, those schools become uncomfortable for them. So Lorena, can you play the video of the students that are in the rock crushing business in Liberia? So I want us to go deep inside of us. If you're even listening to us right now, search inside, deep inside your own soul, to just see that we had a school building This is an example of a school building, and I'm sure there's many of those buildings that look like that. This is located in Bond County, District number 7. We have a representative for the formula who often appear on this show, especially during the anti-rule of law and rule of law crisis. He was here. That is in his district. But again, I don't want to isolate him because I know that many schools in our country would represent in that way. So when the children are going to those schools and somehow they drop out or they leave or their parents take them out of school, then they go into the rock crushing business. Okay. That's why I wanted to show what happens, a little bit of timeline or projection of our children. This, and the guy pointed out so rightly, if not anything else, these are our next generation. There are some people who are supposed to be a custodian of our country, because we will not be here for long. And this is what pains me the most. So I want to get your reactions. I wrote down my notes. I will talk about it after I hear what every one of you have to contribute to this. Mr. Fubi, let's start with you. What was your reaction? What are you thinking when you saw how schools are looking in our country now?
Yeah, so it's not just now. It's a age old stuff, and the sad thing, government needs to do our best to solve the problem. Even right in Maserado, don't even go out of it. Don't even go to Maserado. Right in Maserado, there are classes there, people sitting down and raining on them. Go to the University of Liberia campus and see how worse it was. And the sad thing, many people that graduated from most of those schools, they rose to power. They became ministers. Some of them are still ministers. They became representatives. They became senators. They became president. And you see the conditions those schools were in before when they graduated were better than what they are now. Go to D12, go to Totmoha, go to Gibson, go to Nibosh Gion, in the different multilaterals across the country that Tobo and Totmo built. Go and see those places. 2019, we're privileged to go, Mr. Cummings, on a tour to Maryland. I saw classrooms. You see one classroom, you see Mr. Cummings.
I said, before you are suspended?
I said 2019.
He was just suspended last month. What are you talking about?
I was just throwing that joke over my people.
I know. So you see, I saw classrooms where you see the blackboard split into two, one for first grade, one for third grade. Maybe second grade or something like that. And the same dead breaks people using to sit down and see the good people all in the places. And I think sometime in 2023 there was some videos from Grand Crew, and I think it was also played on Spoon where they were viewing the pro temps county at the time. Abache, you saw school buildings the same way, and it's like that all over the country. So the government needs to do more to solve these problems. You can't just be paying salaries to teachers. You got to improve the facilities. And that's why you see some people, when the people talk about, I've just drift a little bit, talking about people shouldn't go to bush schools. I asked them the last time, what have you done to improve the modern schools? If you improve those things, people will have no business going to bush school. But because you don't improve it, people see that as an option. And then you show the rat crushing. People go to the children have to, so the people even walk 2 hours, 1 hour to school. So if you have to do that kind of distance and you go there, no teacher on campus. So you think going to the bush to go hunt and make garden, you will not use that as an option, then to go sit down and say, we'll see, I'm going to school. And that's why you saw a lot of the children, their teenage pregnancy was so high. You see young children, 13, 14, they're pregnant. Because nothing to do. The school, the teacher, from the place, you only got 1 or 2 teachers that will teach from first grade to 6th grade. So you got to be waiting time by time. When you finish teaching the batch, you teach the next batch. So government needs to do more to address this. And, it have filtered down from past governments. So now it is this government responsibility to address them. You inherited them. The same way people say, you inherited some of the projects, so we have projects that you're doing. This is some of the bad that you have inherited from past governments. And not only the CDC government, but past governments. So you under obligation now to address them.
Yeah.
And you have to put it with all seriousness. Forget about all the regular politics, government and politics, so we expect to do that, but put serious issue effort into addressing these things, improve these campuses, give the children better lives. People talk about people and so that they can change the future. The future, you can see the future where it's heading.
For the family are calling me, should I answer the phone? I'll ask your panel.
Answer. Nothing wrong with that.
No, please, beg you. Ladies, please, but I beg you.
That's not what the man answering. Let the man talk. You mentioned the man name.
What is he trying to do?
On his show, I don't know.
You mentioned the man name. There is nothing wrong. It's fair for the man to talk.
Okay.
Is he trying to give us information?
It's not trying to call.
It's fair. It's fair for the man to talk.
I mustn't tell you, so we'll get you to come on. Okay,
that personal thing about me, it is about the country.
I'll call you, Honorable. I'll call you. Thank you. Thank you.
Call that man
I'll
off,
call
man.
you. Thank you.
Not for the popular personal property, like government property. So we have to nothing wrong with that.
We'll tell him later. But I'm happy that he called. He said he has some clarifications to make, but we'll do it at another time. So let's move on. Thank you, Fubi. Fubi is saying that this is an age-old problem in our country. And if I recall correctly, agriculture and education have one of the lowest percentage of money being allocated to them in our budget. So we do have a problem here. So let's go to Mr. Kennedy. What were your thoughts? How were you feeling? What were you reacting to when you saw this?
Well, I've lived and gone through these schools. I saw a school like that in Dokotan, Gongolala. I saw a school like that. In fact, I put a picture up. The school in Blota looked like that in Bopolu district. There are schools like that in Bokomo. Bapolu County is even worse. Bapolu County has some of the highest high school dropout rate in the country. Some of the highest. You still have point of location that people are walking 2 hours to come to school. People walk 2 hours to come from Totokola to Bopolu to school. 2 hours. People can call in the show and say whether I'm saying the fight or not. But this is 2025. And one thing you can look at, Dr. Richardson, that none of those schools have any of the lawmakers' children going to it. None of those schools. Their schools, their kids are not going to public schools. I can bet my neck. No lawmaker in this country, Liberia, has their kids going to public school. If there is, let them come and make it known so that we can applaud the person. So they strategically sit and decide to underfund the public school system. They care less about it because their kids are not beneficiary of those schools. Today I posted a picture of my young daughter graduating.
That's right.
With an engineering degree.
Yes.
I want people in Sabema to have that same opportunity my daughter has. Because everybody will not be able to live Liberia. So when you take government, it becomes your responsibility to provide this opportunity for the less fortunate. But look at how many children you see in the street selling kue, selling peanuts, selling something that cannot even afford to feed their family. It is 2025. Are we just multiplying ignorant people? Because that's what's happening. They drop out of school, and the worst case scenario for them, especially our girls, our sisters, our daughters, they get pregnant, and then they create the residual ignorance in the line of their family and just create a lot of poverty. Because I can almost guarantee you in this time and then, if you are not educated, chances are you're going to be poor. I say you are very smart and have the opportunity to leave the country. But some of the very lawmakers go ahead and build these schools without any proper planning and just dump it on the Ministry of Education. So the school is not playing well. It is not structured. They build it for political reasons. They are doing it both for schools and hospitals and clinics. They are going around the place and just build. The lawmaker's responsibility is not to build anything. His responsibility is to advocate for government to make the proper allocation of funding so that our people can benefit from their taxes. But they're not doing that. They become NGOs. They are going from one town to another. They are building clinics. They are building schools that they know they're not able to fund to be able to put teachers in. As a result,
those things that they are building are not sustainable. But they do it to get political votes, and our people are clapping for them over and over. But this has to stop because it is continuing now to create a lot of uneducated people in our country. Dr. Richardson, look at the school you just saw. Can you actually put a human being in that classroom to go sit down and you be proud of it? Sometimes that entire school got only one teacher. One teacher. How are you expecting that the kids who are going to that school to learn anything? This is a conversation we need to elevate to the national level. The government has an obligation to educate the Liberian people.
Yes.
Somebody needs to hold government feet to the fire. And the one group of people who can do that are the very lawmakers they elect, but they are sitting there fighting and burning our building down. And this needs to stop because what they are doing is not in the interest of the Liberian people.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. I'm trying to unpack everything you said. It was a lot said, but the bottom line is we have to improve education in our country. This does not look good for development in our next generation. So, Mr. Gallas, I'd like you to come in on this subject matter.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Education for me is very close to my heart because I believe that education is our pathway out of poverty, period. Whether you like it or not. So I wrote an article that I have on the Voice of Liberia about the leadership challenges in Liberia. And one of the things I started was that, as history teaches us, any nation, any country that fails to educate its people, the current generation, the next generation, that nation is up for grabs. That nation failed to manage its own resources. That nation fails to manage its own affairs, and the governance system in that nation going to be challenged and it's going to be weak. And this is what we are experiencing in Liberia. Since 1847, we still haven't gotten the education thing right. And I couldn't agree more with my fellow panelists. But also we have to look at the age-old problems, right? Liberia is not the lack of resources. And I agree with Paul to say, well, the lawmakers, it's true. It's not a lack of resources. We have so much resources, but our resources are poorly managed. Reason why we relegate education, to the very bottom of our priority list. And then the second thing I'm going to say is that Liberia as a country, we have misplaced priorities. We don't know what our priorities are as a country. Our priorities for right now, for those in power, for our legislatures, especially the most powerful branch of our government, their priorities have been to use the budget process to profit, to enrich themselves. And that's the truth. Until we reorient our mind to understand that the priorities of the nation should be about nation building, should be about putting your people first, putting country first. We'll continue to send people to the legislature who will go there and go have weddings in Paris and come back and bring the crumbs for us to eat, instead of thinking about investing in the education system of Liberia. We keep electing people who don't have loyalty to Liberia, but loyalty to themselves and their parties. And until we understand the connection, the link, and I know they're going to come for me, but as I always say, I speak for Liberia. I speak for the people. And given the fact that Spoon, and I want to always thank the CEO and for this platform for the work that they are doing to continue to empower and educate and inspire our people. But the people have to understand that the problem starts with them, Paul. And there where, you and I, we may have similar ideas, but the vision of how we can change Liberia lies with the people. It starts with the people. You keep electing the same people. You keep putting them back in power. You keep giving them authority. The legislatures and the senators, those are the people who should be speaking for their districts and their counties and their communities. These are the people who should be going to that budget hearing and say, look, I want, like 40 family is calling out to try to justify what that school is seeing them build. He should have advocated for that school to have a budget in this year to make sure that our school has been rebuilt.
Okay,
to make sure that our school has been elevated to
Thank you,
those are the
you're right.
Dr. Richardson.
He is calling, but I want to announce here that we'll have him on the show tomorrow. So let's get our questions and our thoughts ready for him to maybe tell us why he in that district and the schools look like that. Maybe you have some feedback to give us, but yes, I just wanted to clarify that now that you called his name.
It is about misplaced priorities as Liberia, as a country, as a nation. And look, the time is always right to do the right thing. And I think wherever that school is located, we call on the government of the day, the Minister of Education, to take seize of this situation and put in some resources there. I understand last month I read an article and a news article that said that the government has received funding to build 100 new schools across Liberia.
That's
and I
nice.
think I think this school should be included as part of this 100 schools. It should be expedited. It should be put on a priority list. But finally, is that we should consider education, agriculture, and those other sectors as priorities in our budget process. And it is my hope that before the end of the term of this government, that they can consider introducing laws to limit the salaries of lawmakers, to remove the poke barrels that we have in the budget that the lawmakers and the senators are benefiting.
Thank you.
Poke barrels, what it takes for salaries. In addition to that, they are taking allowances for scratch cards, for gasoline. Some of them have more money for their generators than 10 families across Liberia. We need to change that. We need to change our budgeting system. We need to improve our governance system and put our money where our mouths are, through education, in healthcare, and in agriculture. Thank you, Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Carlos. Uncle Sam, let's hear you.
So this is not even human rights violation. This is child abuse.
It is.
Because think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I have daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And they start, excuse my language, seeing their monthlies at 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Where do they go to the bathroom?
You want to know?
Yes. And even the young men, when they go to the bathroom to do number 2, where do they wash their hands?
Oh my God. Don't even thought I want to.
You know what I'm saying? These are the kind of things that somebody who understands the social construct will be looking at, not just the lack of education, because clearly there will be no education in that school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, there'll be one kid in there who is a genius, who will, for some reason, out of his own efforts, he will elevate himself. He can become president from there.
Mm-hmm.
But the vast majority of those people in there, they're going to die in early age.
Yes.
In their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Because number one, food insecurity, hygiene, right? And just the common, to convey it, to socialize them, to take care of themselves. How can you socialize young people to take care of themselves in terms of cleanliness, in terms of all of those virtues in that environment? That is a crime against humanity.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute crime against humanity. You know, in 2009, I was asked by President Sharif to go do the county development tour, 15 counties, and at that time they had only 73 districts.
Mm-hmm.
I spent about 2.5 months going to all districts in Liberia. That's the first thing I noticed when they said they spent money to build a school in places like Zogowi, or places like far like Avahun, or places like Glanstown in Nimba County near Tapata. That's the first thing I asked myself. Where do they wash their hands? Where do they go to the bathroom? They go to the bathroom in the bushes. I went to my grandfather's town, a town called Flamboyant Town. Okay, and it's right by Little Liberia and River Says, where you have to walk like 40 minutes. And there are only two huts, with 12 people each living in those 2 huts. But I asked them, where do you drink? They took me to a stream. Where they drink from. And this has been happening for generations. This is 2009.
Yeah.
2009. So what we're doing to ourselves, and they said I'm an angry old man. Of course I'm an angry old man. I'm an angry old man because I've seen the challenges, but I've also seen the potential of Liberia.
Yeah.
Especially post-war.
Mm-hmm.
Post-war. They always want to hark on to 1980, 1922, and this thing out. But what about the 22 years post-war democratic dispensation where we all are sitting at the table? All of us sitting at the table today. No one is excluded. We are the most educated generation ever in the history of Liberia. We are the most professional and we are the most prosperous, counting Liberians within Liberia and in the diaspora. So what's obstructing us from looking at simple things like building a school with a toilet, with a hand washing basin, right?
Crazy.
We can't, you know why? Because we argue amongst ourselves. We all looking to score political points. We want to be big shots. We want to be bigger. We want to know more than the other person. We want to attack somebody's credentials. We want to say that we are better than them. And you're not better than anybody.
Thank you.
Lastly.
Yes.
Think about the little girl who has seen her monthlies. Okay, where would she even get Tampax or tampons before she even have the hygiene to go to in that village? Can you imagine the kind of health problems that little girl will have in her lifetime? Huh?
Yeah. So Uncle Sam, thank you so much, and I want to just move to closing on this matter because we have a few more minutes left before we end the show. But I'll give you my thoughts. You raise a good point. We are in 2025, and we have not seen any plans addressing or strategic plans, like you say, Uncle Sam, addressing the education sector. So I'm disappointed in that. I was very excited when I heard that our Minister of Education was taking a tour around the country. I was looking forward for this big, what was her findings? Did any one of you guys read that? Maybe I was sleeping, I didn't read it. I don't know what was her findings. How is she advocating, or how are we as Liberians advocating for education in our country? So I'm disappointed in that. Yes, things happen in the past. Somebody said this is an age-old problem on this show. I agree. Okay. Somebody said it's the way that we kept the people uneducated to continue to use them for some people to stay in power. I agree. But this is 2025. This should be a priority of all of us. Some of the things I know that, and I just want to mention, when you have a dilapidated building like we saw, I don't have any objection to the mud building, because I love the mud building. Is comfortable, it's cool and stuff like that. But those buildings have holes. They are not even plastered right. You could see the stakes going through them and holes in the wall. Okay, giving it to exposure to rats, bugs, flies, all coming to school. All of those things can disturb a person's ability to learn. I saw, I don't know, discomfort sitting, how the children are going to concentrate. There's probably noise in that building. There was, no, the roof of it was not covered up. There was no way to insulate the building before noise coming in. All of those things, believe me, I'm an educator. It impacts how we educate, how we process information, how information are encoded into our memory for us to verbalize, to give it back. I saw, and someone talk about the order. Somebody talk about, maybe I think it was you who said there was even a building where they were keeping pigs there. All right. Or just the people where they will go to, defecate and do the things that natural humans do, excrete things from your body. I remember being at, in Nima during the election period, and I was in this building where they were using for elections. And when the wind blew, everything just came into the classroom. So I was sitting there to me, imagining trying to learn, do a work that the teacher gave me. How's I going to process that information? Pollution and sickness and everything. Is it any wonder that those children and people are dying at a younger age in our country? We got to think about all of those things. For me, I would like to have an objective, a vision, a strategic plan, a way that we can address our education. I want if the education department or whoever the leaders who are in charge of education put a map on the board, learn where all the schools are. Look at your performance level of these schools. Do we need to have them exist? If there's schools where it will take a longer time for children to get, find a mean. We can do it to get transportation that these children can be transported to. I really want to know what are the needs. They got district officer, school officer. What are they people doing? I really, really want to know. So for me, I think it's time that we begin to look at our school system, if not for anything more, but for the next generation. These are the people that will leave our country to, my people. So that's all I wanted to add. I want to just say a couple of things before I ask you to do your closing. I want to say happy birthday to one of our dynamic panelists that's always on the show here with her. I'm sure she's having a wonderful time. I told her to please make sure that you have the best and the fullest day. Today is Glendy Genius. Happy birthday. We appreciate you on this show all day. Thank you for being a part of the Spoon family. I also want to say congratulations. I don't know if who's in the studio can also show Glendy's picture up. I don't know if you have that loaded, but you can go on Facebook. She's been blasting. She's been telling us we who friends with her. We've been seeing her picture all day today. So you can go on Facebook and see that. I also wanted to tell Paul Kennedy, congratulations to his daughter. She got a degree in engineering today. I'm in awe when I see a young Liberian woman of Liberian ancestry, graduating with such topic. Being an engineer is no small joke in America or wherever part you are. It's a lot of studying there. So thank you and congratulations. Thank you so much for making Liberia proud, making your parents proud, and most of all, making yourself proud. I also I got a message from someone who is telling me that he went to go purchase land. It's from a military person in this country. He went to go purchase land in Liberia. And the person that he went to get the land for is called Don Achibabo. And he's saying the reason why he wanted me to talk about this is because he didn't want for other people in the diaspora to fall into the same trap. So he said that the surveyor and the person who owned the company is called Don Achibabo, who's the boss. And he never met this person. He was introduced to this person to tell him to go buy land from them. Okay. He went with a surveyor called Lloyd, and they begged him. He bought the land, but then time for him to get his paper for the land to process it. When the surveyor go out there, they have to go to lands and mines to process it. They disappear. He can't find them. They give him run around. Go come back. And getting proper paperwork. The paperwork they give him, the dates are not making sense. So he just wants to admonish. He wants me to tell Liberians who are out there, if you're doing any business with Don Achibabo, please take precaution. And the surveyor, he said, is Lloyd, who took him to go survey his land. He just wants us to warn Liberians in diaspora about such a work. Sure, let's go to closing. I'll start with you, Fubi Henry. Could you please do your closing?
Yeah, so firstly, happy birthday to Sis Glendy. Even though yesterday I'm not calling you, but today your birthday, so I'm calling you on your birthday. So that good thing.
Yeah. That thing all women now inside chat room, Facebook thing.
I know. So wish you God's love and blessings. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day with all the fun you can have. And you are senior advisor for the Suspended People Alliance. So
I don't want to ask you. Anyway, the Suspended group, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I know that.
I know. Yeah, but on a serious note, the quote, I think you give 41 minutes to talk. It'll be good. Since your name was.
Before they were calling, everybody was in flight. So I didn't want to disturb everybody. So tomorrow you'll be on the show to address you. We will prepare for him tomorrow. Because at least the audience will be here. You will know he's coming back tomorrow. Sam will be get ready for him tomorrow.
No, I'm not going to be there. No, I won't even come.
Oh, is that bad? I'm just saying that's serious.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, anytime you refer to somebody's sickness, I can't deal with him on any level.
Listen,
and if I was younger, I will whoop his butt. So I mean, I can't stand him.
Thank you. Well, thank you. But please put
so
a picture up for us. You're putting a picture up, Lorena. Yes, this is.
Oh, that's our baby.
Yes,
that's our sweetheart. Come on, mama.
Yes, she's stretching that post.
That's our girl.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Yeah, mama. Yeah, look at the girl, ma.
Happy birthday. You know,
happy birthday. God's love and blessings.
You and all the contributions that you make to this program. You came and you contributed.
Looking so sweet.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much. Mr. Callis, yeah.
I didn't finish.
My baby's finished, man. Come on.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mr. Henry. Finish and then go to Mr. Callis and then.
Phoebe, you can have 30 seconds of my time.
Yes.
Look at you.
Where's the seeds never flock together?
No problem. So on the issue of the court, look, nobody is guilty right now. So they are all innocent. It's just the formality. So like I said, for obvious reasons, everybody will have their side, and don't take it personal. So all of you out there, that take politics too personal, don't take it personal. At the end of the day, those guys will be knocking glasses while you're fighting. So it's a process, but I think it's good. It's in the right direction. Go to court, whether you like it or not, whether you like the justice system or not. I always say people that the only court that we have, you don't like it, you have to go there when you have issues. The same with the police. Only one police we have. Whether you like them or not, when you have issues, you got to call the police. So that one government we have. Whether you like the government or not, you have to rely on the government to do many things. So let's deal with it. And to the government, prioritize the agriculture sector. Like I always say, put money into this sector, the private sector, build a private sector. And how you do it is by supporting some of these ventures. Let people grow their own stuff. I was 9 years old to manage my power fish ponds right at the back of our house in Lofa. These are all things people can do. When you have this little thing at the backyard, it helps to change a lot of things around. It cut down costs, and people can live a more healthy life and other stuff. So let's do this. Go to court, relax yourself and don't stress yourself. Like, bro, we're not born, I will always say. By the end of the day, it's good for us to go through the process, and let's trust the system. Thank you.
Thank you.
A good show.
Stay tuned. Stay watching Spoon so you can know how to dig up Bele, okay? Okay, Mr. Callis.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. So there's an article I wrote in 2013 when the United Party government came out with Vision 2030, and I try to provide some, critique, but also some recommendation. And education was part of that article. So I'm going to share in the chat room if anyone wants to read it. Mm-hmm. But part of what I said in that article was that any nation that is unable to educate its own people, its citizen, be it a current government, a current generation, a future generation, that nation gets taken over by different people, by corporate profiteers, people who come in a country with little or no investment to take the resources and just take it away, because we don't have the foundation. We can't even negotiate proper contracts, right? You saw the report from John Muller's era, General Auditing Commission, where he brought most of the concession agreements as bogus because they were not properly done. And these are just some of the examples of what education or the lack of quality education does to a country. Mm-hmm. And that's why we need to pay attention to investing in the education sector. Absolutely. We need to put our money where our mouths are. And I hope that this government or future government can continue to allocate resources in the education sector, because every child across Liberia has the right to quality education. And that's what is needed to move Liberia forward. We also have to look at our governance system, how we are managing our resources. We have to understand what the priorities are for this country. Look, we can say all of the nice things, and I've always like to say, Liberia doesn't lack laws. Liberia doesn't lack policies. We have policy document. We have Vision 2030. We have the Pro-Po agenda. Now we have the arrest agenda for development, right? But how do we implement? That's why has been lacking. We tend to err on the side of theory. We need to move from theory to practical. We need to implement. We need to be more practical. We need to be more realistic. And we need to understand that being a representative, like for the family in his district, where the education system in one of his towns or villages is dilapidated, it is on him to advocate for the people of that town, of that district, to make sure that they can put a budget allocation in the next budget for that school to be built for the children of that district.
I asked him to come in.
Oh, he's coming, right? He's coming. Yeah, but it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for him. I know he's a young guy, and this is his first term, but he has to be receptive. He has to be aligned with what the realities of his district are. And this is why you elect people to represent you. But back to our Liberian people, when we come to election, people come, they make big speeches, they make big promises, and we make the mistakes of electing people who are not going to do anything for you, or taking little things. And then when they get there, they feel that they have already bought your vote. And then they don't go anymore to Capitol Hill to advocate for you so you can get a budget to address your education needs, your healthcare needs, and also the unemployment challenges that we face as a country. So as Liberians, we need to begin to think about those things. And then finally, on the rule of law, Dr. Richardson, I want to thank you for the segment today. It was really good. But we as Liberians, we have to be the custodian of the rule of law. Every Liberian must respect our Constitution. Every Liberian must avail themselves when you are called upon by the courts. And every Liberian must respect the process, the judicial process. We can go out there and show support for our supporters, for our political leaders. But when we respect the Constitution, when we respect the rule of law, when we allow the process to play out, and no one is saying these representatives are guilty, but the facts have been presented, let the court and the system adjudicate and come out with a verdict. If they are not found guilty, they should walk away. But if they are found guilty, then they should pay the price. They should be punished as per our laws. But also justice should be for all. It shouldn't be for a select group of people. So I hope that those who are languaging in jail, the 6 young people who were also charged, I hope that they get their day in court. I hope that the bail system works for them so that it is equitable across the board. I want to thank all of you again for the time and the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallus. Well said. Uncle Sam, you want to take us home?
Yeah. Look, first of all, Dr. Richardson, thank you so much. And my God, you're one of the most brilliant people on the planet. Okay, I really admire your brilliance. Look, I want Liberian people to do some basic calculation. A borehole, it's not going to cost more than $3,000. That building there, you can build it for less than $250, $300. But look what happened over the last 8-9 months. When you have 43, and I want you to do the calculation. Let's do the calculation together. Okay. One representative, okay?
Mm-hmm.
One representative.
Mm-hmm.
The price of one room at RLJ is $150.
Sure.
Yes? 3 meals a day, say $100, right? Right? So plus 100. That's $250 a day, right? Times 4 months, it's 120. That's $30,000 for 120 days for one representative. Times what? 43, right?
Mm-hmm.
Times 43, $1.2 million. That's the math. This is what we go to school for, to be analytical, not to talk with muff, but to make this kind of calculation to understand. If you spend $1.2 million in 120 days to house and feed 43 senators, representatives, I mean, that school there, let's say you want to build one of them with a good toilet and a good bathroom. You're not going to spend more than $30,000. So divide that by 30,000. Okay, so 123,000 divided by 30,000. You can build 41 schools at $30,000 a piece with a toilet and a borehole and a washing station for those young people. So think about it, my Liberian people. Why do you think I'm not going to sit here tomorrow? Of course, I have a funeral tomorrow, but I could make myself available. But why should I come and argue with a man who sat here for 5 months and all he spoke about was removing the speaker and disobeying the law? What does he have to say to me? How can he justify that? Have you ever heard him talk about the educational conditions in his school, in his district? Ever? In the last 17 months that he's been in office, has he ever said to Stanton, I want to discuss education, health, business development, jobs creation in my district?
So, but I come tomorrow to ask him.
No, but I'm not. I don't. When you disrespect me and refer to me, I have a cancer brain. That is a point of departure. But something that I didn't attract STD, something that's in my genetic code that I call cancer, and I beat cancer.
Yeah.
I beat cancer, and you refer to it in a disparaging way. I have no respect for you. We have no dealing because you're not a human being. To refer to somebody who is going through an illness and you refer to that in a derisive manner, that is an indictment of your education. That is an indictment of your home training.
Yeah.
It's an indictment of who you are. We can all disagree, and we disagree on all matters. But to refer to me, my cancer brain, I cannot sit in the same room with this person ever in my life. We can never have that. This is a point of departure. But so, look, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about me. It's not about footage. It's about Liberia. Let's just look at it. $1.2 million spent in 120 days. And I'm giving them the benefit of that because it's probably spent more than 4 months over there. And I'm also giving them the benefit of the doubt in terms of the cost of the hotel room and the food, right? So they spend $100 a day for food, $150. So that's $250 a day.
Okay.
1.2 million, and you could build 41 schools for that money. So that's what I want to say. God bless you. You have a good weekend. I'm going to
Uncle Stan, that information is wrong. The guy did not spend 3 months in a hotel every day. The fact that they spend few days there doesn't mean that they are 3 months consecutively stay there. So that's a wrong information.
This other show, and then you can stop. I just
really
thank you very much for coming here.
He's not arguing the cost, though. He said the number of days.
Thank you so much.
Let's give him the benefit of that. Cut the money in half. Cut the money in half.
Thank you so much for all your contribution. Lorena in the back, she was the
Glenny, happy birthday, Mama. I beg you, happy birthday, Glenny. Okay, love you so much.
But before isn't it great? We're coming by you relaxing your home life.
So I see you guys.
But y'all been keeping me in the back for the longest. I don't know why.
Bye-bye.
Sarah, we're ending the show.
No, but I've been here more than been listening to your, brought me back. I don't know.
I got control that the producer in like I got no control.
Maybe it's deliberate.
Yeah, so sorry, I ain't got control. I
think it's just deliberate because they took me off. And
yeah, because I really wanted to
I'm waiting more than 5 minutes in the back. That is unfortunate.
Tomorrow we're going to continue this school discussion. So come Lorena. She's
no, it's unfortunate. Okay.
You are a removal, honorable.
But I've been waiting here.
I want to thank the audience. For listening to us. We'll be back here tomorrow. Also wish Stanton a speedy recovery from his cold. He cannot speak. That's why he's not here. But I'm sure he's taking care of himself because I can imagine him not being here. This is the place he likes to be. But so Lorena, thank you so much. Let me go grab some drink and eat, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you for a wonderful job. You always look well, as usual.
Thanks, Doc.
All right. Thank you, audience. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so we draw the curtains on Phone Talk for tonight. Another edition comes on fresh tomorrow night with talking panelists analyzing all of the happenings and different things, activities going on in the country. On the next Friday, you're going to see me here. Thank you so much for viewing, for sharing the program, for calling, being a part of it, all your messages, your comments, relaying the program in rural Liberia. We thank you. You are all very important. Have a wonderful evening.